live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
Troy.
Yes, and we're joined by Johannes
Grenzfurthner. Hello.
How are you?
The German accent.
Johannes Grenzfurthner.
Yes, that's about right. Everything in German sounds like a war crime, and especially my name. So that's it.
Yeah, I have to be careful with that because we have a warning now on our YouTube for hate speech. So
oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a trigger warning, but I'm a genetic trigger warning. So whatever I do will trigger something at YouTube. So
very good.
Enjoy. Yeah.
Troy and I are part German. I'm not sure how much, but part. Half
like
Italian,
what area your ancestors came from?
Well, I know our grandmother is Pennsylvania Dutch, which is really Deutsch, which means German.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That is always like for someone like who speaks German or has like German heritage, and everyone thinks that they are Dutch. It's like the biggest insult. But then again, I have to say, like, I mean, there was a reason why the Pennsylvania Deutsch left Germany. All these crazy people.
When I told Michael St. Michael's I was half Italian and part German, he was like, "All you need is some Japanese in you, and you can be the
Axis power."
Yeah, people, yes. And I was like, "Oh,
absolutely.
That's a nice way to put it." Yeah.
But it's so fun. Like I think like 2 years ago, Yasmin, who is also the producer of Solvent, we went to Amish County. We went to Lancaster County in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
We went to the Amish museum there, and it was so fun because the Amish, they speak this like 250-year-old like specific, very regional German dialect.
Oh, okay.
And of course, I speak Austrian German, which is it's comparable to like something like a strong British accent versus like a Louisiana accent or something like that. So we also have our ways of saying things, and it sounds funny, of course. And then there was also a very traditional Jewish family there, and they spoke Yiddish. So there were like some Amish, some Yiddish speakers, and us with our strange German accent, and we almost could communicate. I mean, we spoke in our specific Germans to each other, and it worked. And then it almost sounds like a joke, like some people walk into a bar. But then this like traditional Muslim family came through the door, and they did not know what was going on in the Amish museum with all this like strange German speakers, anyhow, but that's all I can say about the Amish.
Yeah. Well, our grandparents lived not by the Amish, but it was by the Mennonites, which are sort of like the Amish. It's like
the Mennonites. Some of them can have cars, but they still have to.
They're a little more progressive.
They have to paint it in black. Like they can't have chrome on their tires and stuff like that. And yeah. I'm a little bit obsessive about the Mennonites and the Amish. I know a lot about them and all like their technology codex they have and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think they're a little more progressive. They're not anti like gay, and they have and our grandparents used to they would barter with them because they had like a butcher shop, so they would barter meat and stuff with I think produce from the Mennonites.
Yeah. No, I went to a Walmart there, and there were some Amish people there buying, like some jam or something like that. And I was asking them, so why you're not just like trading? Why are you buying jam at the Walmart? Why are you not trading with your fellow Amish? And they would say like, but their jam is bad.
Yeah, and it's probably just one you can't get like boysenberry jam.
Yeah, right. You get sick of apple jam after a while,
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So we're not just going to talk about the Amish.
Yeah.
I mean, we can.
I thought that was tonight's show.
The Solvent. For people not aware yet of Solvent, even though we've talked about it quite often, we show the trailer. Give folks an idea of what Solvent is. That's probably hard to do. Yeah.
Oh, it is. I mean, I have to say, like, I mean, the basic plot line, I'm not sure how much we should go into spoiler territory, but the basic plot line is pretty is pretty easy to understand. I mean, there is a group of people, and they are going to this remote village in Austria, in Lower Austria, and there is this farm, and that farm used to be the farm of some guy who was in the war, in the Second World War, part of a group of people running a concentration camp. And that group of people, they are trying to find documents on that farm, because it seems that that guy had like an interest in souvenirs and collecting things. So it seems that he got stuff at the concentration camp from the prisoners, or from just like documents there, all kinds of stuff. And he hid it away in a box, and they're trying to find the box because they're interested, like historically, like what happened, if the stuff that was hidden away could in some way help the victims that are still alive, or the relatives of those victims. And they are trying to find kind of like a treasure hunt story. They're trying to find the Nazi box. But after a couple of minutes, this project fails, let's call it, and then it's becoming a little bizarre, let's call it that way. Is this a good way of explaining it, Neil?
I think saying it fails is amazing. It very much fails. It fails.
Little understatement.
Yes.
We're joined by Annabelle.
I loved it.
Yeah.
She
Wonderful.
snuck in.
Good to see you, by the way. Good to
Nice
see you.
to see
Hello.
you. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was making it because I don't feel great. But for you, I had to be here.
That's nice. And it's also the first time that we can actually speak to each other, because we've only, like, I think, chatted like on Messenger or something like that.
Yes.
So good to see you and good to hear you.
You. And very, very much. I've heard amazing things about you from Neil for a while. So
yeah, that's why I had the strange idea of like dragging Neil into the project and be one of our executive producers of this craziness here. So thanks for letting you drag yourself into the project.
Thank you for asking me. I was excited, and it was a cool experience to be part of. Like, figuring out who is. I have a little bit of a cold, so it's a little hard for me to talk to. So it was interesting to find out who's going to play the lead.
So we all have something. I mean, it's November, so like I'm super jet lagged. You're all cold. It's all fine. It's
yeah. Well, Troy and I and a couple of our buddies for Arbor Day, we were out. We shot some just photos, and we did like quick behind the scenes videos with some of the cast. And originally, we were going to shoot the whole movie this month. And while we're doing it, I was like, I think we made the right decision not to shoot now. My hands are freezing holding the camera.
Going down, we were freezing to death.
And I'm sitting in the living room in LA of some of the guys that will help you shoot the movie next spring. So Michael and Sophia. So
that wall.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to, but that's the kitchen. Their workspaces in the back here. It's honestly, I have to say, like, it's a little bit like the background is a little bit boring. If I would be in my office in Vienna, it would be a little bit more crazy, but it's okay. It looks like a space station.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The washer and dryer.
What was like the was like when you start thinking of Solvent? Was there something that like started the idea? Was there a spark? Like, I have something here. Like, where did it come from?
I mean, honestly, like growing up, so I'm a classic Generation X person. So like everyone always forgets about me. The millennials are always complaining about the boomers, but they never talk about the Gen X guys. But I'm a classic Gen X guy, and so that means that my parents, the boomers, they had to deal a lot, of course, with the war generation. So my grandparents. So like I think most of the conflicts were between my parents' generation and my grandparents' generation in terms of like trying to deal with what happened in World War II. But of course, I kind of felt that all the time. So I was born in 1975. So when I was like 10 years old, it was like in the mid 80s. And I always had this feeling of like, it's so strange that nobody really talks about that. So that there is this kind of like almost this like historic hole in the country this like kind of strange underground nothingness that is of course full of stuff and full of stories, but nobody wants to talk about it because like, you know, like the war, and let's better forget about it. And everyone is either ashamed of it or they are not ashamed of it, but of course don't want to talk about it. So there's this strange nothingness that's around like talking about that kind of stuff. And I felt that a lot when I grew up as a kid. And I also remember that when I went to school, there was almost no history lesson about the Second World War. I think we might have had like 2 or 3 weeks in my entire like in my entire high school.
Wow.
In the meantime, it's a little bit better. So in the meantime, it's way more, and there is way more open talk about that stuff. But I kind of like grew up with not hearing a lot of that. And so it is, it's of course clear that in a certain way that is shaping you. So like that hole is something that hole in the soul of the country is somewhat that influences you, let's call it that way. And of course there were many things, like even in the US, many people heard about that, the whole Waldheim affair in the 1980s, when one of the candidates for being president of Austria, it turned out that he was working for the SS in the war, and like all this like strange scandals going on and whatever. So I mean, so I always wanted to do something about what was going on, and this like that families don't talk about certain things with their grandparents and stuff like that. So that was always like an element of that. And of course I'm a big horror fan, and I like the idea of like films about like horror films about Nazis, yeah. But I always wanted to do something more than, you know, like Dead Snow, for example. I mean, I love Dead Snow. It's a fun little movie, you know. But I mean, you could just replace the Nazis with something else. It's a completely apolitical.
It could be Vikings. It could be anything. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of like it's wasted potential, let's call it, to make it a Nazi zombie movie. And then the Nazis are not even real Nazis. They're just like, you know, like some guys who are trying to protect gold. they could be goblins as well, or something, or Vikings or something. And so that was an aspect of that, and also it was in a certain way an interesting playing field to play around with found footage. And like documentation of stuff, because the whole film is about documents, and they're trying to find documents of Second World War, but at the same time they are finding the documents and all that stuff. And I really like that. And my 2 previous films, Masking Threshold and Rat's Nest, they also deal with hidden things, and they're also, so to speak, found footage films. But in that case here, I wanted to at least have the first part of the film being pretty straightforward, almost like tricking people into the belief this is just like one of those, you know, like found footage films where a guy runs around with the camera, and then there are some jump scares and all of that stuff. But I kind of wanted to dissolve that. So I wanted to have like almost like the opening half an hour or so being a classic found footage film documenting like this like treasure hunt, but then it turns into something more than that, let's call it.
I love the analogies you just used, because hearing what you've said now, having seen the film, I'm not going to give anything away, but the scripters you use, people should see it. That you should memorize the show or rewatch it and watch the movie, and then it'll all come together. Because really, it was just, I feel like even just listening to you just now, I have a different appreciation for it when you're talking about the history and how that fed into your narrative.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can say that because people will like see that within the first like 5 minutes of the film, is that I'm using a lot of like real footage. So found footage, but very personal found footage, because I had the luck that my dad was a classic baby boomer dad, and he bought a lot of like he bought VHS cameras like in the early 1980s and stuff like that, and he bought me a PC pretty early on. So he was very like technophile in his way, and he also, I mean, of course, very privileged in that way because he had a job that he could afford all of that stuff. So he also had always good photo cameras, and he was documenting everything. So he was kind of like an early Facebooker or like sharing images, but it wasn't really like that back then, of course. So I think I have probably 25 photo albums, like thick photo albums, from like the mid 70s until I guess the mid 90s. So, and they are full, of course, of images of myself and images of them and my grandfather and the farm and all that stuff. And I wanted to use that because I knew that it's a film about history. It's a film about documenting history or history re-emerging in a certain way. And I thought like it would be such a waste not using that stuff. So in a certain way,
it's hard to it would be hard to just make that out of nothing and and it not look like you know, like, oh, they just made this it looks like legit things.
And most of the time, if people try to Photoshop people into old photographs, it always looks
it looks
wrong.
bogus.
You know, there's always something wrong about it. So I thought like, well, I have a shit ton of photographs of myself and my grandfather, so why not use that? So I want to talk about that generation and the lack of communication or talking about that trauma anyway. So why not use my real grandfather as the face of the Nazi when he was still alive, and myself. It was one of the reasons why I said like, hey, I should play the grandson of the Nazi myself, because I'm in all these images, all these photographs with my grandfather. So I should play a very fictionalized version of myself. And so it's fun to see the film if you knew my grandfather, because my grandfather was a very caring and very nice person. He avoided talking about certain aspects of the war, but as far as I understand, and I read he had his war diary. So most of the people in World War II were kind of forced to write diaries and some stuff like that. It's really weird. And so I could kind of like, the stuff that he told me made sense in combination with the stuff that I read and that I found after he died in the diaries and the photographs from the war and all that stuff. So it's interesting that I picked my grandfather as the face of the evil Nazi, because I think in my family he was not the evil Nazi, because he was talking about it to a certain degree. He was sharing the photographs. He was sharing where he spent the war, so in what parts of Europe he was stationed. The other grandfather, so my paternal grandfather, he never talked a line about the war. So like he never said not a sentence about the war. So my feeling was always like that my maternal grandfather, the one that you see in the film, he was actually a pretty okay guy for the times. And my paternal grandfather, he was probably the one who did a couple of weird things and horrifying things, because there was nothing to find out about what he did.
Wow.
So
do you think your grandfather would be okay with being in the movie now? Like,
I mean, you can't say that. I don't know. But the thing is that the story, and I actually put that into the film. So if you look careful in the end title scroll of Solvent, I put the story in the end title scroll that like in 2008, I asked my grandfather, and he was always very supportive about my crazy art projects that I always did, and also supported them financially sometimes. And so he was kind of open-minded about that kind of stuff. For like a pretty conservative guy, I mean, he was part of the Conservative Party in Austria and that kind of stuff, you know, like he was like not like a super open-minded and super liberal person, but he was at least interested in what I wanted to do and my art stuff, and he supported it in a certain way. So in 2008, so he died in 2014. So in 2008, I asked him if it would be possible to use some of his stuff, you know, like his diaries or photographs or stuff like that in future art projects or in films. And he was smiling at me and said, like, if you put me in a film, make me the villain. I want to be the villain in the film. Yeah. So I'm not sure he would be proud of what I did with him as a villain, but I mean, I can't say that I didn't in a certain way fulfill his wish.
Yeah. Wow. I would think that it would be very emotional for someone from that time to watch this. Really,
Yeah, I
would think it would
yeah.
be. It's a deep movie. From what you've just said, like I said, I have a new way of looking at it, and I would think it would be very emotional if someone could see that.
I mean, it's not really necessary to know all of that, what I said to you. I think the film, like, films are like time capsules. So like, even with me, Dad, and even with nothing like around to explain the film has to work as a piece of art and as an entity, of course, yeah. But of course, it definitely helps knowing a little bit about the backstory and knowing that photographs are real photographs and all that stuff. Yeah, it's I mean, in general, it's a very personal film, not only historically, but it also incorporates a lot about myself. Like there's a lot of like I'm a very aspiritual person. I don't believe in a soul or anything like that. But there's a lot of like. There's a lot of myself in the film, and some of it is quite obvious, and some of it is also very, very hidden. But what can I say? I tried my best. I wouldn't say that it's therapy that I made this film. So it's of course still a couple of steps away from my real life and my real self. But I mean, there is definitely stuff in there that would look completely different if someone else would have made that film, even probably with the same script, I guess.
I know we're a little early on yet because you had the premiere at Nightmares, which we'll talk about, but so far, has like audiences in other countries taken to it the way you thought they would, or is there a disconnect at all? Because, like you said, it's a personal film. It's looked at differently in different countries.
I don't. So far, I have feedback from, of course, Austria, because the premiere was in Austria, and in Austria, it's of course something that people know about. I mean, it's of course a different way of seeing it and reflecting about that stuff, but you don't have to explain certain things because everyone kind of, even younger people, even people who are 20 years old, they kind of know what's going on. They're just like one generation further away than I am from what went on. I was a little bit worried, honestly, in the beginning, if it would translate to other cultures, if like someone seeing it in the US would take the same thing out of it, or someone seeing it in Japan or like in South Africa, whatever. Yeah. And so far, I mean, we have screened it in Austria, in the US, in Italy, in South Africa, in Australia, I think Colombia also screened already. And so far, all the stuff that I read, and of course, it's kind of hard, like how I'm not going to all the film festivals. Of course, I went to Nightmares because it was the US premiere, and I had a lot of really interesting conversations afterwards with people who saw the film there. But I didn't go to South Africa, and I didn't go to Colombia or so, yeah. But I can kind of see what's going on a little bit through the strange lens of Letterboxd. Like on Letterboxd, people, of course, you see, there are people rating the film, and yesterday was the screening in Australia, and then you go, okay, that must be from the people who saw it in Australia. And of course, that's also narrowing things down, because not everyone who goes to a cinema or to a film festival is on Letterboxd. But it's an interesting kind of like an interesting like brain scan, so to speak, and to see what people write down. And strangely, most of the reviews so far are super positive and super good. So it's like 3, 4, 5 stars. There are a couple like bad reviews, but most of them don't even write why they didn't like it. So it's just a classic half star, but no review or something like that. So something. They didn't get what they expected. They wanted a Nazi horror film, and they got the Nazi horror film, but they wanted Dead Snow or something like that. But so that's so far good. What was interesting is that there was one feedback, and I was actually talking about it during my Q&A at Nightmares is that I, of course, sent the film to a lot of people for reviews, because, you know, like the classic thing as an independent filmmaker, you have to do everything yourself. Of course, I have a PR person that is helping me, but most of the time you just like have to just like do all the work yourself. And of course, I'm also writing with a lot of journalists, and like, hey, can you review the film? And of course, if it's a Rotten Tomatoes approved critic, the better, of course, because then I get a Rotten Tomatoes score and all that stuff. And I don't want to name like what outlet it was and what's the name of the journalist, but I sent but he reviewed Rat's Nest like a year ago, and I thought like, oh, like that's a person who saw one of my other films and enjoyed it. Yeah. Maybe that person will enjoy my new film. And I sent it to him, and he said like, yeah, well, I'll review it. And 2 weeks later, he came back to me and he said that he has to review. He has to refuse reviewing the film. And he gave an explanation why he didn't want to review the film, that the film is making, like, it's hard to summarize it, but the point was, he said that the film is making an anti-Palestinian case. And I was like a little bit flabbergasted what that has anything to do with anything, yeah. And then I realized
the right movie.
Yeah, no, he watched the right movie, and there are, interestingly, so there are two quotes that the evil Nazi guy says in the film, and both of those quotes are actually real quotes. I didn't make them up. The one quote is, I observed like a right-wing kind of like neo-Nazi character trying to recruit people for his cause at a anti-COVID, anti-vaccination demonstration in Vienna. And there is like the right-wingers, they are very keen, because so many people are complaining about the government and what the government did to them during COVID and all that stuff. I mean, there is also a big part of those people then voting for Trump, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. And so I saw like this like right-wing guy talking to like a hippie, you know, like in a batik t-shirt, and he was telling him this like awful sentence that he feels for the Palestinian cause. And if the Nazis only had 6 more months in the war, then that problem wouldn't exist anymore, you know? And it's like this horrible, horrible stuff. And the hippie was like nodding and saying, yeah, you're right. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah. And I put it in the film. I put it into the mouth of the evil Nazi character, because of course there is a correlation between Nazis hating Israel and all that stuff and being anti-Zionist. Yeah. And there's another quote which is a soccer quote. It's a soccer chant that right-wing soccer fans in the Netherlands and Germany use, and they're crying, they're screaming, Hamas, Hamas, send the Jews into the gas. You know, wow. Like another like horrible, horrifying thing. But I didn't make that up. That's like hardcore right-wing soccer fans say that kind of stuff. Wow. And of course, I wanted to use also some of this like contemporary form of horribleness in the film. So I put those quotes into the film, and of course the evil Nazi guy said those things then in the film. And so the reviewer said that it's connecting Nazism to being a critic of Israel. And that's why he feels the film has a wrong message and he doesn't want to review the film. And I thought, like, if you're reading that in that way, then you really haven't understood what the film is about. Honestly, I'm not sure, like, if you see it in a similar way, or what your perspective is on that. And that's, of course, very, very serious questions and very serious stuff. But it was it was the only thing that really bothered me in all the reactions that I got, is because it's a fictitious character.
Yeah, and he's also the villain.
He's also the villain. It's also stuff that hardcore Nazis and neo-Nazis really say. Yeah. So it's not even, it didn't grow on my dirt, as we say in German. But anyway, yeah.
I do think that speaks to a bigger problem that I have with some people today, and we've actually. So last week we played Scarecrows of the Third Reich trailer, and YouTube flagged us for hate speech. And so so they made me take a hate speech course, and it said like you could I had to take a hate speech course, and so and it said you can use this stuff if it's a documentary or a work of art like fiction. And so I protested it, and I said, why challenge it? And I said, well, this is a fictional trailer, blah, blah. And they said, oh, we reviewed it and it stands. So then I went to Twitter and I actually contacted YouTube on Twitter because people told me if you do that, you can talk to real people. And I did. I talked to a real person, went back and forth with them, explained it. A couple days later, came back and said, this is not the answer you want, but they're standing by it. And we have a permanent hate speech warning on our YouTube page.
Oh, Jesus my Lord.
And and that was part of the thing I said, though, is like, for one thing, it's fictional. It's also the villain in the movie. I was like, but by this like thought process, any movie that ever had a Nazi in it or talked about a Nazi would be hate speech, even if it was the villain. I mean,
wow.
And it also says a lot about like there is like strange conflicting things going on now, like this like strange alliances between groups and political motivations and stuff like that. So it was like it shocked me, honestly, that you would be able to do that, to like frame it in such a way. But anyhow, so it's but so far that was the only time that I heard something like that, because I mean the whole, without giving away too much, I mean the main character, the guy who has the helmet cam, you never see him. It's but his voice, so it's kind of like an interesting chameleon, because the body of the main character in the film is my camera guy, Flo Hofer, because he's wearing his red Komodo on his head, and it was so incredibly heavy that we only could shoot for like 10 minutes at a time, because it would have broken his neck. Like, it was so incredibly heavy. So the hands and the body are my cameraman. So the actor of the body is my cameraman, and the actor of the voice, that's Jon Gries, like a kind of like a known Hollywood actor that we only
Uncle
recorded.
Rico.
Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite. He is currently on White Lotus. He was on Lost. He's the father of Linus.
Monster Squad.
And stuff like that. But I mean, he has a career of like 50 years in films.
Wow.
He has been in everything. He has been on the X-Files and this and that. And he's such a mensch. He's just like, he's such a lovable, wonderful guy to work with. And I mean, I only had 9 hours with him. It's like, he was in Thailand and I was in Austria, and I directed him via Zoom. And he was in the sound booth in Thailand, and
that's wild.
For 9 hours straight, we were working on the stuff, and it was actually perfect to do that, because in the process of filming the film, so we shot a couple of days in March 23, and a couple of days in June, and a couple of days in September, a couple of days in November, and then we had some special effects shots going on. And pretty much we edited the film. So Anton, my wonderful Russian editor, who actually fled from Russia and now lives in Austria. And so we were editing the film, but we were editing the film not knowing what the voice will sound like. I mean, we kind of knew that it would be Jon Gries and all that stuff, but we didn't know how he would perform it. So we were kind of like editing a version of the film, and I was speaking like Jon Gries's voice as a placeholder, so we could actually time the thing a little bit better. And then when we got the takes from Jon, and then we put it into the film, we kind of like recut the whole film, because suddenly his voice gave us ideas, and sometimes he would give us like 12 different versions of a sentence.
Wow.
And then we felt like, I was always thinking of like, this should be a very somber voice or something like that. And then he's also said like, hey, I'll give you a couple of crazy voices as well, or a couple of like more extreme versions of the sentence. And then in the editing, we found out, it's actually better to do it that way than that way. And then we put it in, and then of course that changed the editing a little bit. So it was an interesting kind of like multi-layered way of dealing with the material, because usually you have what it is, what you record during the film shoot. But here we had kind of like two different things. We had all the visual material, and then all the takes that we did, and then we had whatever we recorded with Jon in the sound booth, and it turned out spectacular. I could not be. I was a little bit worried it would not work, or with something would like feel like off kilter or something like that. But all in all, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah,
it looks like you had fun doing that. I can imagine it being incredibly stressful to have all these different ways of hearing these different sentences, these different parts, and having to pick the one that you think this one seems right. I would think that would be very scary.
I was a little bit scared, I have to say, but because we also never really rehearsed or anything. So I mean, he had the script, he read the script, but during the recording, I was kind of like voice, kind of like giving him like remarks about like how to pronounce certain things in German, because he also speaks some lines in German and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, it was the recording was also the rehearsal. And in the beginning, the first 10 minutes, I thought like, oh my God, I hope we have enough time in 9 hours to do all of that. But after like 20 minutes or so, we had such a great groove that it just like became faster and faster and faster. And it turned out excellent. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
How did the two of you connect?
Yeah. So I first met him like on a Zoom call, just like because like talking about the project and kind of like pretty much like pitching the project to him if he would be interested. And then the next time we saw each other was while recording the stuff for the film. And then I really, for the first time in person, I saw him in Austria, in Vienna, for the premiere of Solvent at the Slash Film Festival, because he really wanted to come to the premiere and see it with an audience also in Austria at the premiere. And then we had a couple of beers together and had a really great premiere party, and it was really super. So, and I hope I will see him in 2 days here in LA for a drink. So we're still trying to figure out like our schedules here, and I'll hope I can buy him another drink.
I can only imagine for him as being so distant from this process and saying all these things, and the same kind of how did this come out? Because I wasn't present with you, but not on set. I would think that would be hard for him to not realize, how is this actually going to come out? I guess no actor really knows exactly how it's going to come out, but for him to be able to see it in that way, I would think would be a very unique experience for him.
It was interesting because Alexandra, who plays the Polish scientist, and so and I don't want to give away too much of the plot, but Alexandra and Jon both said because they have not seen the film, they haven't seen the film before the premiere, so they were really sitting with an audience in the cinema and seeing it for the first time in its final version. And they both came up to me afterwards and said like, well, I mean, if we could have been in the same room together and played together, it would like help with this or help with that. And I told them, no worries. I mean, we have so many recordings of all the variants of all the things you did, and we found the perfect combination of your performance and your performance, and it fits like a glove. I'm not even sure it would have been better with them being in the same room. It's because it was almost this like infinite puzzle of possibilities. And sometimes Anton and I, my editor, we were sometimes like, we can't even choose what's the better take of this. It's like at some point you just like have to say like, it's that one, forget it. Like, let's not think about it. Like nobody will ever think about it as intense as we are right now while editing. So people will never pay attention to this.
How long does it take you to edit your movies? Because your movies seem to really, I guess all movies come together in editing, but your movies in particular, I think, seem like they really form a lot in the editing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you really so we were not editing every day, and sometimes Anton and I were like working for like 2 hours on it, and then nothing for a week, and then another like day or so. But I mean, if you add it up, all in all, I would guess like around 21 days or something like that.
You're very
21
quick,
actual,
'cause, I was
21
part of it,
actual
so,
working days. Yeah. So
Wow.
21 like 8-hour working days, I guess. That's that. Well, maybe a little bit more because Anton is so precise that I have the feeling that without even talking to me, he was editing at home alone and not telling me. Or some, like being an eager beaver that he is, he maybe might have done that as well. So I don't know anything about that. But I would say like 3 weeks full on working on that. But
Yeah.
I mean, for example, my first film, Masking Threshold. So I started editing the film with Flo, my camera guy, who was also doing the camera for Masking Threshold and Rat's Nest and for Solvent. And so Flo and I, we started working editing on Masking Threshold for some days, and pretty much then COVID happened, so we couldn't be in the same room together, and we tried to like edit together via Zoom, but that doesn't really work. So in the end, I pretty much like finished the editing of the film myself, because I was locked away in my COVID apartment anyways. So, and I was extremely obsessive with that one. I remember I probably edited a whole year on that film, and just like watched it again and again and again. And I think that was also partially with my way of dealing with the COVID trauma of not being able to leave home and stuff like that. So that might actually be part of that. But that one was way more obsessive in the editing process than Rat's Nest and Solvent. Rat's Nest I edited completely alone, and I did that also in over the course of like 2-3 months, I guess, but of course not working every day on it. So I would say like a similar length of editing than Solvent.
I see someone in the chat is asking for a link to buy this movie.
Oh, I mean, the easiest way is you go to Letterboxd, because on Letterboxd they have these links on the left-hand side where you can actually stream it, and they have it for different countries. So, for example, it's streaming on a couple of US streamers, but not on the equivalent of those streamers in Europe, for example. But there are a couple of countries in Europe that have similar streaming deals with like France and stuff like that. But I think that is probably the best overview where to watch it is on the Letterboxd side of Masking Threshold and the Letterboxd side of Rat's Nest, because Rat's Nest and Masking Threshold both have US and Canadian like distribution, or in general, I guess also for New Zealand and Australia. So like the Anglo world, I have distribution for that realm. And then I have like it's kind of like this like distribution stuff with streamers is like a pain in the ass, but I have distribution in the Czech Republic and France, but not in Germany. But then I don't know. But in case people really want to see it and can't find it in their specific countries, send me an email. We'll find a way.
Yeah, and Solvent's too early yet for.
Yeah, Solvent is too early, because Solvent is still doing the festival circuit, and I had a super cool conversation today with my sales agent from New York, and it seems that a couple of companies are already interested in distributing it in the US and
very nice.
and Canada. So it won't take too long, I would say. I mean, the question is like when whoever gets the handshake and releases it, whatever their plans then is, when they want to release it. Will they wait until autumn next year, or will they release in in spring or something? I have no idea about that, because that's too early to call. But it will be available at some point next year.
So I was sorry I couldn't make it to Nightmares with you. It would have been a good time. A lot of things came around the same time. I was getting my wisdom teeth out the week
That's no
before.
excuse. That's no excuse. You could have done it in Columbus.
Could just had someone come in.
I could have done it for you.
True.
You took out the belly button,
Rusty.
so why not the wisdom teeth? Yeah.
Be a better story.
True.
Yeah, that's true. But
did it work out? Like, show me. Where is it? Show me. Show it.
Other went back to the wisdom teeth. So
You might still have them
they said they've
somewhere.
been healing up good. I went to the dentist the other day. So
Yeah.
I do have this with me though. This is Troy made this. This is the Nasty Neil Golem. So it's my colon.
It's
That-
all the
Oh.
bits they removed from Neil, and then they.
My belly button that Johannes removed, and the wisdom teeth that he.
Oh wow!
removed at
Oh
some-
wow! But I
and
mean, I
your
have to say,
lenses
so
from the
there is. I said there's a lot of my soul in the film. There is also a lot of my body in Solvent,
Oh,
and just for people looking for that stuff. So there is my penis in the film, my actual penis. There is my actual hemorrhoid in the film.
Oh wow!
I never had a hemorrhoid in my entire fucking life, but I got one during the shooting of Solvent.
Happy accident.
Right.
And happy accident. So I put it into the film, and there is also my toenail in the film. So like my flipping up toenail, because I hurt myself, or actually really like ran into a wall during the filming of Solvent, and kind of like ripped my toenail off. So
Ouch.
if you see the film, it's not that important. It's kind of like, of course, it's a nasty scene, and it looks nasty. But if you see that, if you should watch the film in the future, it is my actual toenail.
Wow. That
There you
makes
go.
it much nastier. Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And
It's
I
no
do wanna-
special effect. It's like pure me. It's myself.
Suffering for your art.
Yeah.
I want to say, when I met you for the first time in person at Nightmares the year before, maybe a couple years before. I think it was the year before.
2022. Yeah.
And so that was great. That was a highlight of me was hanging out with Johannes. So we had a lot of fun. We shared food and stuff. And one thing though, in particular, so part of Nightmares, they tell everyone to get together and interact. And my personality would be I just hang out in the back and not interact with anybody. But Johannes grabbed me and said, "Come on!" and you made me go and talk to people, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm a good networker, but I also force people to network, and some people hate that. But I have heard good things. I mean, I at least facilitated 2 marriages so far.
Oh, there we go.
Oh wow!
And I made a lot of projects happen just because I said like, hey, you guys, you have to speak now, and I will wait in the back here for 15 minutes, and you have to at least talk for 15 minutes.
That's amazing.
I'll make sure of that.
You're
and it's
hero.
always a good thing. It's a good.
Yeah. You are a hero. I'm sure Neil also hated it.
I don't know.
Well, no, I
hopefully
end up
good
having a
things
good
came of
time,
it.
but I am
Good.
someone who just left to my own devices, I would probably just hang out in the corner and not
Yes,
talk.
you
to
would.
I mean, it's interesting. I'm a very I'm an extrovert to a certain degree, but I'm also super introvert about certain things. So sometimes I enjoyed so much going somewhere or going to a conference and just like doing what Neil would do, like just standing in the background, just looking at people, just like being uncomfortable or being more comfortable without interacting. Because most of the time I have the feeling I should use like the opportunity to be where people are and talk to them and make connections and just like make friends. But it also happens every now and then that I'm just like a fly on the wall, sitting somewhere, you know, and enjoying that as well. But yeah, you know, whatever works.
So
I'm glad you were there to help Neil come out a little bit.
So
yes.
Solvent, like it's a horror movie. It might maybe not a traditional horror movie if people think horror movie, whatever, like a slasher or whatever. So my question is, when you're what's the experience like watching it with an audience? Because it's not necessarily a movie where people are interacting, you know, with what's going on. I mean,
it's a film dealing with the Nazis and Holocaust and stuff like that. So people would think that it is incredibly. I mean, it is kind of dragging you down into like into like strange basements.
I have a much broader term for horror movies, me personally, but I know some people consider it has to be like.
I mean, there are so many different. I mean, a splatter film I mean, something like The Exorcist is hardly to compare with something like Saw. Like, I mean, the variety of horror films is so big.
Yeah. I actually
really enjoy
just
that.
recently was an argument on Facebook. They were arguing that Terrifier films are not horror movies, and then I don't even know what they're supposed to be. If they're not movies,
what can I say? I'm not a fan of the Terrifier films. Personally, I think the Terrifier films are very long special effects reels with almost no plot.
Good special effects.
Good special effects. I'm not complaining about that, but they're. But I mean, I wouldn't make something like Terrifier. I can enjoy it at what it is. It doesn't get like a high ranking on my ranking list, but of course it is a horror film. I mean, it's exactly. People are being chopped in pieces and salt is being poured in wounds and stuff like that. Of course it is. But I mean, the question is like, for me, I mean, there are so many things that I consider horror films that technically people don't see as horror films. So, for example, two of my favorite films ever are it's like a 1980s TV documentary that mixes like fictional stuff with real stuff. It's called Threads. It's a film about the nuclear war in the 1980s in England. And of course, they made that film to show how horrifying a nuclear war would be and what happens. And of course, nobody made that film to make a horror film. So it was not made as the entertainment purpose was not to make a horrifying film. It's more like an educational film, but it's one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen, So for example, is this a horror film or not? I mean, I consider it a horror film. And there is another film that doesn't have any like blood in it or any slaughtering or any killing, but it's extreme psychological terror for me, and it's a film called Compliance. It's from like 10 or 15 years ago. It's about the horrors that people do to other people psychologically, or what I mean, I can spoil it in that way. It is a fictionalized version of a guy who made prank calls to different venues like McDonald's and stuff like that. And he was pretending to be a police officer, and he made people on the other side at those venues, at the McDonald's, for example, McDonald's outlets, do things by the sheer force that he was so convincing in playing a police officer on the phone, although he was no police officer. And I mean, if you have not seen that film, I really highly recommend watching it, and it's terrifying. But is it a horror film? For me, it is a horror film, but many, of course, purist horror film fans wouldn't say that it is a horror film, I guess.
Apparently, this is based on a true story. It
is, This like prank caller guy, like really existed.
It's crazy. It sounds.
I mean, that is one of the things that I like about festivals is it's a lot of movies that might fit in multiple, genres or don't really fit into any real genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the really interesting stuff happens if genres are being mixed. It's like when certain elements of one genre fit into. I mean, Alien is one of the best films ever made. It's a haunted house story. Of course it's a horror film. It's like chest bursters and face huggers and like male rape and everything. I mean, of course, but it's also a really good science fiction film. It is very precise about its science fiction-ness, sci-fi-ness. Is it sci-fi? Is it horror? Is it both? Of course, it's both, and that's why it's so great. Or like Event Horizon. I'm not the biggest Event Horizon fan, but Event Horizon is also an interesting example of like a sci-fi horror film that works in that realm.
Hellraiser in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always just think, like, at the end of the day, does it make Alien better or worse if you consider it horror or sci-fi? It makes no difference. So why does it really matter?
No. Yeah. I mean, it's fun because I'm only making horror films. I'm a horror film fan for a long time, of course, but I'm only making horror films since like a couple of years. So my first horror film, Masking Threshold, was released in 2021, and I started working on it in 2019. So I'm making horror films effectively like since 2019, yeah, and so I'm kind of new to the fandom, and I'm new to the people who are obsessed with horror films and stuff like that, and it's fun. So if you compare, for example, the ratings on Letterboxd or IMDb or other sites of horror films to other kind of like genre formats like sci-fi films or like anime films and whatever it is, there's so many different like nerd genres out there. It's fun or interesting to see that even super good horror films are always rated a little bit less than their equivalents of super good sci-fi films or something like that. So, and I think it is related to that horror films and most of the horror films are seen by horror film fans, and horror film fans are very peculiar. They're peculiar in a way of that they know what they want, and they also know what they don't want. So I think they're way more outspoken. Horror fans, I think, are way more outspoken on rating something bad on Letterboxd and leaving a bad review because they don't like it. It's almost they're like protective of the genre. They say like, this is not a real horror film, or this is a bad horror film, or this I don't like this. And and I think there is a statistical reality to that. If you compare like the ratings of horror films to other nerd genres, I'm not sure if maybe I'm talking out of my ass now, but maybe you have a perspective on that. But I think horror film nerds can be super harsh, but also super friendly.
Yeah. I agree with that because they're very accepting, and they have a love for a lot of movies that aren't necessarily great, but that they might be entertaining. And unlike a lot of genres, a lot of horror movies like live forever, where I think some great films in other genres like just disappear in time.
Yeah.
But then they can be very argumentative at the same time.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how there's, you've got the slasher fans. Those people are super protective. It's like anything that's not in that realm is garbage. And not that like I dislike those people, but it's this very set format of what it means to have horror. So it's like all these other things that they think are, what's the word people use?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's
elevated
horror.
Elevated horror, and they'll be
which is super condescending, the name itself.
I hate like whoever does anyone know who came up with the term elevated horror? I want to punch him.
Because I like a lot of those movies, but it makes you not want to like them as soon as you hear that title.
No, it's like it's pretentious bullshit. It's like what the fuck, like.
Mm-hmm. And then I like it never existed before. Like there was never like all horror before. The way something was just.
I think it might be
violence or something.
Yeah, I think it might be used more often now because there's. I mean, we also have seen that in sci-fi and other. So for example, especially in Germany and Austria, nobody took sci-fi. For example, sci-fi books. For example, sci-fi books. Up until the 1990s or so, no one took them serious, like in the traditional literary world, And I mean, they're enormously great sci-fi books. Sci-fi is one of and horror as well, I guess, is really great in literature to make points and to tell political stories and interesting things that you couldn't do because of censorship or other things. So it's incredibly valid and great pieces of literature, but there was this like canon of like real literature, kind of like trying to be protective of like Ulysses and whatever, all like world literature or something like that, and the same was of course true in Germany for sci-fi books and horror books, because they never were reviewed by literary journals and stuff like that, and so there you could feel this like division between like, oh, that's just entertainment and this is just like valid, like valid art or something like that, And for me, that was, I never got that. I never got it. Why would a film by Werner Herzog be valid art and Poltergeist would not be, or something like that? So it's just like it's film is the purest form, I guess, one of the purest forms of artistic expression in all its ways. And it doesn't matter if it was like $20 in the making or 20 million in the making. Like, someone had a vision and tried to do the best to make that vision work and work as a concept and as a product. And I have an enormous I'm taking a bow every time someone finished a movie. So many people are complaining about, that movie is so bad. That the movie exists, that it was released, is a miracle for many movies, you know.
Almost any time a horror movie is nominated for Oscars, it's considered a thriller. It's no longer a horror film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think the elevated horror sticker was kind of created to make it more acceptable, to sidestep the stigma in a certain way by creating another stigma, you know, like suddenly you have the horror films that are the valid horror films.
Don't worry, this isn't one of those horror movies.
Anyhow.
So what are the plans now? I know you still have festivals. So So why are you in LA right now? Are you for? Is this for?
So I'm in LA. So that is a long story. I'm in LA because it's not Solvent related interesting. So there will be an LA screening, but it's not while I'm here. It will be, I think, in January or something like that. No, I'm in LA because I made a documentary, and the documentary is dealing with COVID and hackers and the Navajo Nation. So it's not a horror film. I mean, you could say it is a horror film because it is talking about very horrific things, but it's not a horror film. Yeah, and that film had its U.S. festival premiere at a festival here in LA. It's called the Red Nation Film Festival, and it's a festival specifically for Native American filmmakers. And films that deal with Native American culture or indigenous culture. So that was 2 days ago. So I was here for that.
And that's raking at leaves.
Hacking at leaves.
Hacking leaves.
Yes, that's that one. So I'm in LA because of that, but I'm also in LA to meet people, and I'll meet Tom, who is one of your fellow executive producers on Solvent, and we're discussing a little bit like. To maybe like ramp up PR a little bit more, because we also, like, now that we are seeing that there are people interested, like companies interested in the distribution, maybe we're planning a little bit already ahead and how we can help that process a little bit. So some meetings here, and then next week I'm actually going to North Carolina to Cucaloris Film Festival, which is an indie film festival. Interestingly, again, not showing Solvent because they have their 30th anniversary this year, and they invited me and Monochrome, our art collective, to do an art performance there. And that's a whole other story. So I'm in the States not for Solvent, but I'm very happy that I can have a chat with you about it. So why not?
Yeah, me too. And a shout out to Michael and Sophia. That's how we got connected, and they're great people. And
and honestly, one question I have not really answered, because so my grandmother always said that they have to kill my mouth separately when I die, so it will keep living and talking. So and so I'm talking so much, and of course I have not really answered one of your questions, Neil. And the question is like how I would define the film. I never really answered that, because many people like have the feeling now it's probably very serious business, you know, like it's about the Holocaust and Nazis and stuff like that. But honestly, it is at the same time, I feel like, for my taste, a strangely funny movie. It has a lot of humor in it. There's a lot of dark humor, and there are a lot of things in there that will please, I guess, a lot of people, and also horror film fans that are looking for like some rough edges, like, and some good creature, like not creature effects, but some splatter effects and stuff like that. So just to also sell it to those people, so it's not only like a very serious business about like serious stuff. It's I always try to combine a serious message and something that people can actually in a strange way learn from my films, with also it being entertaining and crazy and grotesque, and trying to make it worthwhile to invest like 94 minutes of your life in one of my films. What can I say?
Yeah. Wow. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that I can't talk too much about because it's playing at the festivals and we don't give any spoilers out there. And we'll talk more in depth in the movie down the road.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
anything still on your mind, or do you already kick me out for what was it like? Not it's not. What kind of shark? What is it? What's that?
We have the folks from Sharks. Yeah, so very different films, Solvent and Sharksquatch, which we'll be talking about momentarily.
By the way, I really want to see it.
Feature,
a double feature. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
And coincidentally, both Johannes and Greg DeLiso will both be in Arbor Day coming up too. So everyone's connected.
Yes. Please let me know when you're actually shooting Arbor Day, because I will be back in the States most likely end of March, because I will be hopefully, like, knocking on wood, but I think it all will hopefully work out to go to Unnamed Footage Festival in San Francisco. And that's kind of like end of March. So in case I'm in the US, I want to drop by. I want to be on set of Arbor Day. I want to see the craziness.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. So it's gonna be in the spring.
But really, don't make it dependent on my availability.
It will probably be May, because March is cold.
Yeah,
there are no leaves. There's no Arbor Day.
That is true. You're not in California. You're on Cape Cod.
Yeah, we're in the we're actually gonna be filming it on Cape Cod. Johannes came out and we had some seafood here on the Cape.
Absolutely. I love the area. I love it. I mean, and not only because of Jaws. Like that's of course the obvious reason. But we went to like Salem, and we checked out the Salem Museum and all that stuff, and it was like very, very, very nice. Like New England. New England is always good for horror. What can I say?
It's true. It's true.
Brian Haas, he thought Solvent is very funny.
Who did?
Brian Haas.
Oh,
he reviewed it recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just I couldn't hear it acoustically.
Yeah, no worries. And he also wants to know, where do you find inspiration for your films, Johannes? I love your stuff.
Oh, inspiration. I mean, I guess living, just like, it's I mean, I have a long to-do list. So like whenever I have a crazy idea, write it on a piece of paper, or send myself an email, when I'm like somewhere. And I have this like long list of strange ideas, and some of those things will probably never be realized, see the light of day. And some ideas just like happen, and I think it's also like a convergence of certain things, that I have an idea and it's very compatible with another idea, and then I can combine it. Sometimes also because I'm from Europe, and we can actually get film fundings for our films. So Solvent, for example, got some government grants actually.
Wow.
And there are certain ideas that work better if you write it into a government grant than other ideas, Mm-hmm. And in the case of Solvent, it was quite interesting because I mean it has gruesome elements, and I can say that there are a lot of dicks in it. A
lot, or just yours? It sounds like it was just yours.
He's being very
just there multiple times.
The only real dick in the film is mine, and then we have no spoilers. Yes. But so I was a little bit worried.
That's a background on my phone now.
It is
still from no.
Oh, perfect.
No. That's a personal picture you sent me.
So when we were like submitting the film and the script and everything to the Austrian government agency, I was like worried that they would call me back and say like, "Hey, this doesn't work." But they were actually super supportive. They said like it's really they have never seen, because I mean, especially in Germany and Austria, there is a tradition, of course, of making films about the Second World War and films that are somehow dealing with Nazi issues and stuff like that. It's just like part of culture, of course. Yeah. And the guy said like that is the first time that he actually really read a script from the beginning to the end as part of like evaluating it for the grant, because he was so entertained by reading it, and it's such a fresh take on the on something that he in different formats has seen before or heard before, you know, like Nazi demon, blah blah blah, and I guess I was lucky that I got the government grant, and but it could also be like completely different, and it doesn't work, but getting the bigger grants is kind of hard. So I mean, I think for Solvent, all in all, we got like 50K or so from the government, or 60K, something like that, and the rest we kind of like scrape together from private donors and stuff like that. But all in all, I'm kind of happy. It was the biggest production budget I ever had for a film, because Mask and Threshold and Rat's Nest, I made those films for 20K each, so it's almost nothing. and this one, I mean, I could be a little bit more like more shooting days and all that stuff. Yeah.
And where can people follow you? Not back to this white room, but where can people follow you online to see what you're up to?
I mean, they shouldn't come here to the White Room, because it's not my White Room. They can actually join me in a basement in Austria if they like. That's the
Mark Scheffler Lounge, as we call it.
But yeah, I am on all the social media platforms, although I'm constantly thinking if I should still be there. So I am on Twitter, I am on Facebook, I'm on Insta. So you can find me. I'm the only person on the planet with my crazy name. So if you're looking for Johannes Grenzfurthner and you Google, you will find me. So on Insta, I'm my last name, and yeah, you can. It's hard to miss me on the internet.
Yeah, that's how I became producer, though, because Johannes thought I was the Neil Jones from Dirty Dancing. And now he's like, I
didn't even know that. But wouldn't you think I would do like a horror dancing movie crossover and approach you?
Yes,
hell yeah.
Please do.
But I love it. I mean, there is, of course, a Suspiria to a certain degree, but I mean, there is no really great like horror dance movie yet. So maybe that is
horror ballet.
And you see, and that's how I work. I will go back there and I will put horror dance movie on my to-do list. I have no idea if that will ever be a thing, but it might be. Why not?
It should be a thing.
I mean, you have to. I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show is pretty much horror and dancing, but it's not. It's not like really scary. It's not like a splatter or something. It's not really. It's not really frightening as a product. So maybe. Yeah.
All right, that's the next project. So we'll be looking forward to
that. I hope not.
Neil and I have some sweet moves.
I jinxed it.
Yeah, Neil. I don't know. Maybe Troy also has sweet moves, but
do not. No, I dance like a long-haired white guy.
All right, we'll talk about. We'll get to work on this someday.
But if they should ever make like a biopic of the Grateful Dead, you should be in it.
Well, I was thinking EC Comics, and then I could be like the William Gaines of the whole thing.
Yeah. But it's so fun. Like we had this project a couple of years ago where we were like dealing with like doppelgangers and stuff like that. It was an art project, and it's so interesting how many people are out there. And I guess there are even like websites where you can like try to find your doppelgangers and stuff like that. But it's so fun to. I mean, it's like, I mean, of course you see there is like the endless genetic variety of the human race, but but I personally know so many people that almost look exactly like. For example, I know a couple of Americans that look exactly like Austrians that I know.
Oh,
Really?
And at some point, it might be a cool idea of like bringing those people together and do something, like just like doing a film about strange, like semi doppelgangers or something, or like using that in a way. And I know there's so much stuff
And
out
they
there.
can dance.
Like,
Bring it together.
Doppelgangers, horror dance movie.
Yes.
Yeah, doppelganger duet.
In the Borscht Belt of New York. Why not? Let's
Beautiful.
do it. All right, sounds good. All right. Well, we do have our other guest on. We had you on for over an hour. I said an hour.
Yeah.
But we could talk to you all day, Johannes. We'll have to have you back on more often.
Yep. You're always welcome.
You can invite me back sometime. Let's
anytime. Yeah, you put a smile on my face, and I honestly always have a fun time, even though I think we've only met a couple times in person. Always a great time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And I'm like it's kind of getting late here in LA, and I think it's probably dinner time. So I will
enjoy.
I will regain the calories I wasted talking to you.
that is how our guests usually look at the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shit. Okay, I'll go to a Panda Express and I'll make it. I'll make it worthwhile or something.
Isn't Olive Garden, I believe, your favorite American?
Oh yeah, honestly I'm obsessed with the Olive Garden, but I'm not going to tell that story now because that's like an hour-long story. Yeah.
So,
I actually have Olive
Garden.
I have an Olive Garden reference in the Arbor Day script.
There is an Olive Garden reference in Masking Threshold. And in one of my documentaries about nerd culture, Trace Route, that also has an Olive Garden part in it. There's no Olive Garden in Solvent, but there's Waffle House in Solvent.
Right.
So, and I'm also obsessed with Waffle House, I have to say. Although it's
about that.
a little bit more nasty. Yeah. Anyhow,
Right.
so please talk to someone else.
All right. We're going to play a couple trailers, and then we're going to come back with the fine folks, Greg and Robert, and we're going to talk Sharksquatch. Well, thanks for coming on, Johannes. And we'll talk to you. Enjoy your day.
It's always a pleasure with you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You as well.
Bye.
All right. We're going to take this a quick break. We're going to play a couple trailers. We're going to play Daily Cicada, which I know the premiere is actually coming up here in LA, I think next week. So we're going to play that real quick. We'll take you on. And then, so how long you need? A couple minutes, and then we'll be back.
I guess a couple trailers.
Yeah, I'll play a couple trailers. All right, Day of the Cicada.
Have you always had this much rage inside of you? Is that why you murdered them?
I am innocent. I didn't kill my parents.
They have to hunt him down like a dog and put him down.
You have to believe me, I didn't do this. It was them. It was the cicadas.
They don't exist, Jacob. They aren't real.
Cicadas do exist. And they're here.
What the fuck is that sound? What the fuck is that?
I need you guys. There's these bugs everywhere.
They're back. I'm gonna do everything I can to stop them. To make sure they don't get anybody else.
Don't do this. They're gonna kill you.
There's only one thing that I care about anymore, and that's destroying them. I'm gonna send them straight back to hell.
What the hell are those things?
Oh my god, there's my skin! We can't get out. We're surrounded by them. Have you looked outside? There's a swarm of them everywhere. It's hopeless. It's not gonna work. Jacob!
Get out of the car and get your keys.
I want to crack this door if Beyonce wants to get in this bitch.
I'm Tim Dry, and I'm coming to you from London in the United Kingdom. Just a little bit about myself, just enough to whet your appetite. I played 2 character roles in Return of the Jedi, One was Jay Quill, a bad boy. One was a Mon Calamari officer. Anyway, I also played the title role in Extra. The point of this little video is to say that A, I have known Neil, Annabelle and Troy for many years now, but I am enormously excited to be a tiny part of their upcoming debut feature, Arbor Day. And I will be providing the voice of the demon tree. Do you think you're ready to handle this? Anyway, stay tuned for more info. It's gonna be monstrous. Ciao for now.
Greetings, my fiends. This is Paul Ehlers, Madman Mars, and I'm very excited to tell you that I'm going to be part of a new film by my friends Neil and Annabelle, a new film called Arbor Day. In fact, I'm going to be lending my voice to the character of, well, let's let that be a surprise. I'm mostly here to ask for your help, so if you can, we really do appreciate it. And by the way, it's almost Halloween.
All right, and we're back here once again at Without Your Head. I'm still Nasty Neil.
I remain Terrible Troy.
And this is Annabelle Lecter.
And we're joined by Greg DeLiso.
Yeah, Greg. It's been a long time.
I'm also, by the way, I'm here with Brisa Monique. He's one of the stars of Sharksquatch.
Oh, sweet. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Surprise guest.
Yeah.
Yay. It's awesome.
Good to meet you.
Well, no,
Yes.
One of the stars, yeah.
Awesome. Very good. And Robert Boles, my one of my scene partners in Psycho 2. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You should talk about that up front because you guys actually met.
Yeah, we met each other at Psycho Ape 2. I was a clown who was not named at the time, and we're immortalized together in artwork that's on the back cover of Psycho Ape 2 and in the film too.
Right.
Film as well. And is that also where you met Greg? Had you known Greg before that?
No, that day I met you was the first day I met Greg.
Wow.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah. That's actually how this all sort of came to be in a way, and so that's interesting.
So like what happened? So as soon as you see him, you're just like, "Hey, I'm pitching you this movie."
No, that's actually the opposite of me. No, it was we were taught. I think I was changing outfits to be a cop and running a scene, and I happened to have a crew shirt on, which I rarely wear. I'm in TV, so it's like I rarely wear shirts. I just happened to wear my Grace and Frankie shirt, and it said Grace and Frankie season 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I mentioned I worked in post-production, so we chatted a little bit, and then that was really it. And then Greg and I touched base a little later, and we just started actually hiking the reservoir.
Oh wow!
And talking about films, and I was like, I have a dumb little idea. And he's like, tell me. And I said, Sharksquatch. And he's like, well, we have to make that. And that's kind of where we are right now.
Amazing.
Origin story as Psycho with Addison.
What?
It's the same origin story as Psycho Ape, just with Addison and then now it's Robert.
Yeah. Addison went hiking?
Well, no. Then
he brought up dumb movies and a name. That's how you get Greg. You say, I've got an idea for something dumb.
Yeah.
And then
with a beast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, sold. Yeah.
No, but yeah, no, that's it. I mean, we were shooting Psycho Ape 2 here in the valley, and it just so happened that Robert lived pretty nearby. And we hit it off. It's one thing I think it's really cool about making these kind of little underground films that we all make, and I'm excited for Arbor Day coming up with you guys. But that we meet these people, and so I got to meet Robert, and it just so happened that he lives like 10 minutes from me.
Cool.
And that I always think is kind of surreal. As I moved to LA, I've been here for like 4 years, And every time Robert and I meet on Sharksquatch, I drive past the Warner Brothers lot. And it's just kind of a little bit of like a funny, surreal experience because I'm like, I've seen that in every famous movie and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And now I'm driving past it to work on Sharksquatch. So we've
amazing
Hollywood.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
And I live sort of behind Universal, so I can see the back lot. And then I can't see where Jaws pops out of the water, which would be amazing for this. But I get to see War of the Worlds, which is fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. And Brissa, how did you get involved?
Well, Greg got me into it. He told me all about it, and I thought it sounded so fun to do. He asked Robert, and Robert's like, okay, she should be Helen. And my character Helen is just, she seems like she's really laid back, but she's very quirky, and she's gonna be like in a group with all these guys, and just kind of the one that's gonna be like, okay guys, but we really need to like figure this out. But they're all really weird, and like it sounds really fun.
He's a sensible, stable.
I like this.
He's a sensible, stable Sharksquatch hunter, but style and verve.
Yeah.
Like,
nice.
And also, I will mention really quickly. So we actually met acting in a yet unreleased Kansas Bowling directed film. Rita was also in Cuddly Toys, which is like semi-released. I think it's screened sometimes, and it's one of the most brilliant independent films of the last decade. And that's awesome. And obviously, Neil, I think we all share. You were in, I think, one of Kansas's films that's also not released as well. So we all have that. You guys were both in Little Miss Nobodies, I believe.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. I wasn't sure if we're supposed to say it, but yeah. You know, I'm very excited. It's I heard that so I met Kansas again when we were doing Psychwave 2. Everything's connected. And she told her and Lo told me when they were editing the movie that my stuff was like some of the most like not scary, the most disturbing, which made me very excited. Because normally if I'm in anything that's very silly, but this was very dark and much different than anything I normally do. So I'm really excited for that to come out.
Yeah.
I'm excited now, even more excited now that you guys. I knew Greg was in it. So
yeah.
Yes, I'm excited to see yours.
Sharksquatch.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Sharksquatch. I always kind of described it as like it's a movie night movie with friends. It's one of those ones you get your friends are over Saturday. You're like, all right, what are we watching? Then you see Sharksquatch as a title, and you're like, well, we have to watch a movie called Sharksquatch.
Absolutely.
And then you just watch it, and you're with your friends. You're making jokes. You're commenting. You're having a fun, and you're going along with a movie called Sharksquatch. And that was how it initially started. Well, initially started as, with everything. It's like, this is dumb. And I wrote it down. And I wrote the opening scene, which still is roughly the same scene, about 3 years ago during COVID. And I was like, sent it to a friend. He's like, you have to do this. This is dumb. And I was like, done. And I just, sometimes it really you need the support system. And I was like, yeah, sure. But I was kind of working from home. And then, it wasn't really, it was something I wanted to do, but I didn't have the right people. And then, like meeting Greg and everyone, you need a motivator. And I think, and the people that just do it, and it was just, everything just kind of clicked together. So that's sort of what expanded the idea and the script, and then building the outfit and the creature. So then it just became this thing of, let's just make it in LA, because we're in LA. Let's just focus on LA. And it's just, someone dies. Spoilers. I mean, a lot of people are going to die, so it's not really a big spoiler. I know. Someone gets murdered that closely related to our core group of people. They're trying to track it down. A mysterious figure shows up, talks about them. It's like, I know the Sharksquatch. And then they get together. And in the meantime, Sharksquatch is just murdering people around LA, and no one seems to care because it's LA and no one cares about anything in LA. And so it's never really mentioned too much in the news or anything, because, that's how you live in LA. You just walk around going, oh, look at that thing. All right. And then you just keep walking forward with your $8 coffee, and you just don't care anymore. So that's kind of the premise. It's just a fun, campy creature feature that you would just enjoy with a group of people.
The Sharksquatch is a very cosmopolitan monster.
Yes.
I haven't seen before. Because what I would add to that is that, in getting to know Robert and Bob, that like there's a whole ecosystem, if I can say that, of creature features, Psycho Ape, Ape, endless Sasquatch movies. There's Crackoon and all that kind of stuff, whatever, right? What Cocaine Bear, all that stuff. Right. But there's been a million Sasquatch movies, there's been a million shark movies. I think Robert hit on something with why don't we combine them together? I think it's fun to try to figure out if it's half shark or half Sasquatch. Was it ever supposed to be like a shark head and a fin and a back of it? Like, is it a tail of a shark and the head of a Sasquatch? I mean, how do you figure these things out? But I think Robert's done a good job. The costume, by the way, that's been designed is unbelievably awesome. And one of the people that was working on it actually worked on with David Lynch on Twin Peaks, the
Whoa.
new and stuff. So that's really cool. So we just, I mean, I think what Robert is doing basically is was inspired by the sort of endless pool of different Sasquatch creature features, B movies and things, and wanted to kind of add to that. And I think combining sharks and Sasquatch is probably the perfect fit, right? So
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of really how it is. It all, I mean, like the pure origin story is I'm working on a TV show. We're waiting in the office a lot. I'm in post-production, so we're always just waiting. And I decided it's like, you know what we need is we need a TV. I'm pretty good at my job, so I know what I'm doing. So we go to Fry's, we buy a big 55-inch TV for $120, a no-name brand TV. We put it in. At the time, it was like sort of pre-Tubi, so a little Amazon Prime and then Tubi. Yeah. And then we were just watching. Then it started with a friend of mine's like, oh my God, there's a movie called Shark Exorcist. We put it on. Then we got to Sharkenstein with a Mark Polona movie. And then it was like, then all of a sudden we noticed that Mark Polona had like 40 movies. So we just started, we started cranking through. So anytime it was a suggestion, we would hit play. I mean, we'd also do work and stuff. The shows got delivered. I know what I'm doing. And we just had a really good time. And it opened my eyes to this world that I'd seen prior, like in the 90s, the indie world of the 90s, which is now this was the new indie world where you could just make it and get it on a streaming service. And that kind of blew me. I knew it existed, but to see it and see what these people were making. So that was sort of the genesis, and it was like, oh man, that'd be fun. That seems attainable. And then a few years later, it's Psycho Ape, and then it's Meeting Greg, and then it's like it kind of just all evolved from all these other movies, and it's like I can have something fun and original and interesting that could be mixed in with that if someone's just hitting random on Tubi.
I think that's the most exciting thing to me about this sort of scene, if you will, of these, if you want to call them Tubi movies or backyard movies or underground, whatever you want to call them, is just that I know that the DIY nature of Psycho Ape 1 and 2 has kind of, I don't know how to say it. It's made people feel included, or like that they can do it too. And I think that's kind of a beautiful thing, is that when you do go out into your own backyard, like we will be doing literally at Robert's or just around here in LA and stuff, in the streets without permits and stuff, when you go out and do that, it does seem to have this contagious thing of like other people feel like, oh, I can do that too. A movie doesn't have to be the big, millions of dollars AMC thing. It can be this homemade thing. That's like what we're getting to. And so I'm meeting great artists and actors like Brisa, and getting to collaborate with people like Robert. It's like that's what I kind of like live for in this scene. And I just think there's so much talent in this scene right now too, that it's really kind of inspiring to me to keep doing stuff. And I'm excited to do Sharksquatch. It's a great addition to the ecosystem.
Yeah, and I saw, I haven't seen the head yet. I think I've seen the kind of the making of the head on Facebook or on the Indiegogo page, but I saw the actual suit and it looks great. The Sasquatch body.
Yeah, the suit is really comfortable. I'll be wearing it because we're also trying to, well, I'm 6'4" and 230, so I felt like I should be it. Also, it gave us a little more latitude if we needed to do a pickup shot, or if we needed to shoot in a day, like with the in the campaign there's like cameos like in Sharks on Psycho Ape. So it's like, oh, we need to shoot tomorrow. I don't have to track down 4 people. I just need to track down Greg. You know,
well, what better dedication that the director is the Sharksquatch? I mean, that's even Addison and I aren't getting in the Psycho Ape suit anytime. So that's like real.
Looks pretty uncomfortable.
Well, I'll say so branching out to like Mila to make the outfit, which was a huge help because putting on it's comfortable. So that's my main goal. It's comfortable. And the head created by Dio. So it's 2 people creating it. So Dio's creating the head. And yeah, you've seen some prototypes. It's in the finishing touches now. It's being dipped, which is like it needs to be dipped, painted. The teeth have already been molded and everything. And the head is really comfortable. So I'm really excited to like finally premiere the head. But the head's like what you see on Facebook is the core idea. Bless you. Bless you. And it's just now it's going to be dipped and painted to look a little more shark-like. And it's comfortable. So that was my main goals. I wanted to be comfortable because when we were doing...
Yeah, especially if you're going to be in it. Yeah.
Especially if I'm going to be in it. And, you know, I'm big and sweaty and, you know, I got a lot of hair and stuff. So it's like... And it was also like, let's do it in the winter time. So it's November.
Oh, yeah, because you were the reverse of us. Yeah.
Poor Floyd.
Yeah,
I know.
I was just thinking that he's like, I was on Psycho Ape. I know that the suit is hot, so
yeah,
just in the winter.
I think that helped too. Like being there that day, like seeing everyone that was fully in stuff, just Floyd dripping sweat. I'm like, if I were to ever do this, December.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like we went to Times Square in the summer in Psycho Ape 1, and then we went around the valley in like August in the second one. So we're picking the wrong production by some things, but we'll try to make for that in the future. But what I'm also hearing is that it's being the shark head is being dipped in magical waters by Achilles' mom. It's gonna come out and be impervious to all whatever, and it's so that sounds good.
Impervious to most everything we can at least throw at it. And oddly enough, I think it can't go underwater, which is oddly sort of poetic that it can't go underwater, but it doesn't mean it won't, maybe on the last shot.
Yeah, save it for the last shot, right?
Yeah. It'll be kid's glove for a little bit, and then then we'll go crazy.
Thanks, Stephen Bravo became a YouTube member here. It starts only $3 a month. Help support the site. Christian Cortez, what up, y'all? Listen, fun, campy creature features are what the world needs right now.
Yes,
that was so true. Kind of my thought too. It's just it's kind of, and it's not just like, oh, turn off your brain. It's just kind of let's just watch something and have fun. Let's have a laugh, even if it's like, oh my god, it's like, what were they thinking? They still having fun. I just want people to just sit through it and have a good time.
I do want to say one thing too, is that unlike Psycho Ape, Robert actually did his homework and he wrote a script. So there's
wow, Robert.
This is something new to Greg.
Yes. And I want to say that we got to do a table read, which another thing, again, I mean, imagine a Sharksquatch table read, which is unbelievable. But actors that we brought together, some of which, by the way, are also appear in Psycho Ape 2, many other things. We have Galen Howard, who is
a huge fan.
He plays like I believe the kind of mad scientist, quasi possible Sharksquatch.
Perfect.
John Karras plays the Sharksquatch.
Yes.
Teresa here as Helen, one of the leads, and then our friend, the other lead. But everyone at the table read was absolutely amazing, and I have to say, just for my own self, it was really fun to sit around at the table read and get to hear everybody's voice, like say the words, like Doug was brilliant. John was brilliant. It was just hearing it out loud and hearing written dialogue, people talking about the Sharksquatch was quite a fun thing. So he did his homework. I just want to show how thick this. It's not quite 90 pages, but it's got some weight to it. And so we got some material here, baby.
And actually, the table read was great. I kind of like with everything. It's like you go, all right, well, I'm gonna have to do a page 1 rewrite after this. Just going in before I even hear one word. It's like just mentally going, oh, this is gonna be, and then just hearing everyone do it, and it was just so fun. I was like, oh, I can put this, my script aside and think about other things I have to worry about, like the head and props and all this shot designs and all this stuff. So it was just so great to hear it, and it was fun, and and I, also with the script, so I guess some of it is probably my 20 plus years in TV. I understand some some ideas of things.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
John here has a question about filmmaking. Sometimes I have a movie scene with no story or movie to go with it. I write it anyways. Is this a good way to do things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say that like anyway. I mean, there's no rules here. You know, like if you read Save the Cat, which I probably keep at my nightstand. Those aren't rules, though. I mean, those are guidelines for how to write a certain type of formulaic script. I mean, there's movies out there that are completely amorphous and devoid of story, and that's okay too. I mean, it's not about rules. So whatever the process or whatever they think it should be, like just write it from your heart. If you write it from your heart and you don't try to adhere to something that you think you have to adhere to because of some kind of rule, then you're always doing better, right? So yeah.
And if you have an interesting shot, shoot it. Like if you're sitting there going, oh, I have this idea, I don't even know if I have dialogue, shoot it. Something will come to you and you'll just do it. Yeah. There are rules, but there aren't really rules. There's just guidelines to follow. But if it's like, I have nothing, I'm going to go shoot. And it's like, then go do it. I mean, we're making Sharksquatch, a movie called Sharksquatch. So there aren't really any rules. You can just kind of just do, just record,
Yeah.
And writing a scene is better than not writing anything.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. So I agree with that. And by the way, Risa will also be in Arbor Day. Her scene has already been filmed. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You guys seem to have such a great energy.
Oh my God! Right.
Yeah.
We filmed something for Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, I wrote
about it except Neil. Yeah.
That's really
I wrote it. It was a very silly scene I wrote up for her. It's short but it's funny. I thought. So, yeah.
Awesome. Much fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
So
Matthew.
It's good to see Matthew wants to say hello.
Yeah.
Too, so that's good. Yeah.
He's being a little.
Brisa, what was the table read like for you? Getting together with everyone and reading the script together.
Oh, it was so much fun. And our friend Doug, that's in it. When I had first read the script, there was a particular line, and it was a back and forth between me and him. And then I was like, oh my God, that's Doug. And then I texted Greg, and then Greg asked Robert. And then so that's how Doug got on board.
Oh,
that is 100% true. And the funny
that's
thing,
great.
The character that he plays name is Marshall. And we sometimes almost kind of joke because, like, for example, when Robert will send out like a mass email, Doug is always the first one to respond. And it's so Marshall of him. Yeah. But some like a thing of like, this is correct. And it really was not only her idea, because for some reason I didn't think of it, but yes, and it was a perfect call because he was really good in table read too, and it's gonna be really fun to see the two of them acting together and stuff. So
fun. Oh, so far, what do you guys think? Are you team shark or team squat?
Interesting.
Sharks.
That's a hard one because I'm a big fan of both.
I respect them. It's a tough call.
Yeah, you could change your mind at any time. But...
Right. I go because let's shout out to Maddie Gehring, a fan of her.
Yeah, she'll be very upset if you would not pick the shark. Yeah.
I gotta go Jaws though. I mean, Boggy Creek is like a cool movie or whatever and stuff, and that one footage from the 70s is like whatever. But I think Jaws is the king.
Yeah, I think Jaws definitely beats out any Sasquatch movie.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Sasquatch is the underdog and needs
That's true. That's very true.
Well,
yeah.
Because I feel like Robert, you almost can't say because it's like
there's also bad shark movies outside of Jaws too. So.
Right, and that's the thing too. It's like but you can almost protect yourself from sharks by just not going in the water. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just like
what I do.
Not in deep water. The guy got sharks completely out of the water.
Yeah, but I mean, there was also a movie called what is it? Was it Sand Shark or something? Yeah. That was something. I think it was that Corey Nemec in it or something. So I watch them all. So I'm all on board on these.
Or you could protect yourself from the Sasquatch and live in the water.
True.
Houseboat
get on a boat.
Yeah, houseboat all the way.
Right.
Just don't go in the water. Be on the house, and then you're just fine. But combined, this thing can swim towards you.
Then you're screwed.
Yeah.
And a possible tagline.
Apex predator.
Sort of like not safe on land. You're not safe in the water. Like there's something in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to workshop that, but there's something in there somehow. Yeah.
And so there's a rumor that this was a true story, like a documentary, but that's not true.
100% true story. It is based on a true story.
Very good. Yeah.
With a little asterisk, and the only true story is that it's in Los Angeles. So
and sharks exist, and you know, and
sharks
exist.
exist.
Sasquatch is a word.
Yeah, you're happy.
And I exist, so therefore it's a true story.
Right. Well, you could be part Sasquatch. You got a lot of hair going on there.
And very tall, from what I hear.
COVID hair. Basically, that's 5 years of growth.
Was there nothing? It was not this way pre-COVID.
No, I grew it once, like in the 90s, because
people
grunge.
Did. Yes.
And no, it was normally I kind of just keep it short because of work and stuff. It just makes it easier just to work insane hours without having to deal with hair products and stuff like this. But last couple of years I've been working from home, so it's like, who cares?
But now you're going to be known. You're like, that's the tall guy with the hair.
That's the tall guy with the hair. But I'll also have a shark head on, so no one will really.
That as well.
Although I have a feeling halfway through. What, Troy?
We will know.
Yes, you will know. And maybe, and my hair actually matches the outfit, so it's perfect.
All right.
Yes. Was that intentional or?
It was so weird. We went to the fashion district downtown Los Angeles to find the right fur. And we're hitting all these places, and Mila just knew. She's like, I know this place. I know this one place.
I know a place to buy Sasquatch.
And I know this place. And then we get there, and it was like in the back. We're like, there it is. And the guy brought it to the sun so we could see. It looked great in the dark. It looked great in the sun. And then once I held it up, I was like, it's my hair.
That's awesome.
And I was like, this is it. So we bought it instantly without even looking anymore. It was just meant to be.
So
this is gray. I would have to do a Yeti or something.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. We have to get on working that. It's November here.
Oh, you could have a battle. New battle.
So
you can have a shark body and a squatch head or a Yeti head.
I debated about should we put a scene where there's a shark with a Sasquatch head? And I was like, I don't even know how to build that. I don't even know. And then it just seemed weird. And I was like, the sequel.
Unlike this is
so
very normal.
Weird.
Yeah, no, this one's grounded. That was too weird to make it into the script.
Kind of got the feel of like maybe the original Fly. Get the Fly head.
Yeah.
So there's an Indiegogo campaign, and we'll link all that. Who did the illustration?
It was a friend of mine, Todd. I reached out to him. He's an artist. And I go, look, I'm trying to avoid, and this is just more of a personal thing. It doesn't even really matter how you feel. It's just like, I didn't want to just go to, AI chat rooms. And it's just like, and I was just like, okay, it's pretty easy. He's super talented. I was like, look, it's Sharksquatch. It's a Sasquatch with a shark head. And I gave him an idea, and this was basically his first pass. And I was like, yeah, I'm sold. Like, I have nothing else. And then I had one where he's in an outfit, and I was like, that might be a thing. So the outfit's not really shown yet, but I was like,
maybe he's a suit or a clown. He's like in clothing kind of thing.
There's possibility of being in a full outfit.
Oh my God.
I'm digging that.
So it was just, once again, then that has to be on the coldest day, because I'll have the outfit on plus clothes. I'll lose about 25 pounds in this thing. But there's talk of putting him in clothes. So
if there's no clothes, I'm not in. Just
okay. All right. Well, I have the illustration with clothes. So yeah. So he sent me the three. The one you see, which is the logo, the one in the outfit, and the one that's sort of on the campaign right now of tearing someone apart. And it's just I thought they were perfect. That was draft 1, and I was like, I don't need a draft 2. This is perfect.
Awesome. It's super cool. I love it.
Yeah.
All these people coming together.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
Yeah, no, I think it's really nice because it's like, like I said, I've been doing what I do in TV for years, and I've actually had a lot of great people reach reach out and just either want to help or want to be on board. And just, I think it's just, just the goodwill of, working with so many people over these years. And I was never this guy. I'm the quiet post guy that sits in dark rooms. Normally I'm just sitting in a dark room, staring at monitors, QCing or delivering or making charts and grids and stuff. That's who I am. Or that's who I was. Of course, obviously in the back in the day, it's like, oh, I'm going to make films and stuff like that. And then you get a real job and you're like, oh, I'm making grids about costs and color corrections and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm so happy that you're doing this. This is so amazing. And, so it's like, actually it was, just met a friend of mine again, Jonathan, who is a prop master, and had coffee with him. And he's like, oh, I saw your post. This is fantastic. Do you need stuff? So, I got, he gave me, I got a box, I got a heart,
nice,
which will be used in something. I got,
nice.
Over there, I got a box of eyeballs, skulls, and bones.
Sweet.
Sick.
And he's like, if you need them, just let me know. And other people have reached out. So it's been really nice to sort of reconnect with everyone. And I've been sort of also on Facebook, where I've been doing everything, is I've been sort of recounting my career, which has been really kind of fun. From the first show I worked on, which you saw, if you see the campaign, is Homeboys in Outer Space. Respect. Which I'll always say it was a great show. And it was, it was the
lost 90s sitcom,
UPN, right? What?
A lost 90s sitcom, basically.
Lost 90s sitcom, 22 episodes on UPN.
What?
Yeah.
Who was the lead? Is there anyone who was in it?
Flex was the lead, with Daryl M. Bell, Kevin Richardson. He ended up being a huge, if you look him up, he's a huge voice guy now. Like all he does voice acting now. He's probably one of the bigger stars, but we had guest stars. We had Gary Coleman. We had, we had Eric Estrada. We had all the standard guest stars you would have, in a show called Homeboys in Outer Space. So I've just, for fun, because Hollywood's in a weird state right now, I've just sort of been thinking about everything. And I was just like, I'm just going to recount all the shows and what I kind of vaguely remember from all those years ago. And it's been kind of fun. And some people have been connecting, going, oh my God, that's where we first met. And I'm like, that was where we met? I thought it was something else. And it was like, no, that's where I was like, that's crazy. So it's been kind of fun just to connect again with people. We've just, it's just been such a weird world lately that it's nice to connect again. And then also work on a just a fun little feature that I think people are kind of gelling to, because it's, nothing heavy,
Yeah.
So I like that on the Indiegogo page, you also have anti-AI on here, saying there'll be no AI used.
Yeah. And I think once again, it's not like, hey, because I'm not trying to make a huge stance out of it. It's just, I want people to know this. Yes, Sharksquatch definitely sounds like something that came out of AI, but oddly enough, it came out of my head, sober out of my head at that too. So a clear-headed Sharksquatch came out of it.
I saved a couple pictures here. So this is you at the fabric store.
Whoa.
That was when we discovered the fabric. Oh man, it's such a great fabric.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Fluffy.
What is that used for normally? I wonder. It just seems like we have this in case someone wants to make a Sasquatch.
It's LA, man.
They had another one I debated about doing, but I had no need for it. It was the exact same material, but it was the same material, and it had yellows, blues, and reds in it, so it kind of looks psychedelic. And I'm like,
interesting.
And I was like, dream sequence. I was like,
oh no, yeah.
I was like, all right, maybe another time. And then all of a sudden you get ideas, and you start writing stuff down. You're like, look, I gotta,
I understand that.
But yeah, I have no idea what that's for, but it's an amazing fabric.
Hey, is that Addison?
Oh, there's Addison.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
More guest stars today. I like
Yeah. How are you doing?
There's a Psycho Ape double feature at Gardena.
Oh, I thought he just popped by. He's like, I think I'm gonna take a little drive down to LA.
Yeah. Without your head, I'm gonna make it. I'm doing the trip.
Sorry to interrupt. We're just kind of.
Oh no, it's totally fine. Also, we have here's the
oh my lord.
Ha.
Yeah. So that was draft 1, and that was just mostly about like, do we like where the fin was? There was a lot of discussion on where we put the fin because we had to cheat it because does it come out of the back and then it just looks weird? Just put it on the head. It's Sharksquatch. It didn't matter. I love that. And that was where we figured out where we wanted the eyes. So that was the eye. That was the eye placement and fin meeting.
You know, it's funny. I thought about that until you just said that right now. But yeah, the fin is on the head of the shark in life. But it makes so much sense that the fin is on the head of that. It would look so wrong.
Yeah, down like the back. Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it would just be this like smooth head and this like massive fin on the back, and it's just like, yeah, that's not what we're doing.
Like this totally took me out of the movie. It's very unrealistic.
Yeah, I don't want anyone sitting there going, well, logically. I just want people to embrace it.
So there's a lot of cool perks on here too. If you guys want to talk about some of the perks.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course. You know, there's standards. There's the thank you. There's the DVD, the Blu-ray, the shirt. Like I think all the standards. Like one of my favorite ones, for some reason, it's like I like the Polaroid perk.
I was going to mention the Polaroids. I really like that myself.
Yeah, because it's like I think what it was, it's like I started then taking Polaroids. That was
nice.
That was the table read day. There we go.
Nice. Oh, look at
and I think
throwback kind of thing. I like it.
And I kind of like too because it's like you're getting like a piece of the movie, and like these are the originals. So it's like you'll get 10 of them, and they'll be mailed to you. So it's like that's it. Like I don't have them anymore. So it's like I'll make sure they're curated so they're all good, and it's not just some dark photo in the corner.
It's like someone's foot. Like
yeah, it's like yeah. Wait, that's a foot. You guys cheated. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like my finger in the film. So that's one of the perks I really kind of like because it feels like you're a part of it. Like you know, it's like oh my god, I own a piece of the movie in a sort of a way, and you know I'm going to try to curate it where it's like everyone will get at least a Sharksquatch photo, a cast photo. You know, it'll just be so they'll all be different because they're Polaroid. But
it feels like you were there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
a behind the scenes. Like you own behind the scenes. You have a tangible product, and then
other people don't have.
Right, exactly. And then you know, then there's the producer perks and stuff like that, and probably going to be adding a secret perk, but that's still working out the details on the secret perks. So I don't want to promise anything I can't deliver on yet.
We like secrets.
Like psychedelic Squatch.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You'll get the dream sequence on a VHS. Only you will have it.
Thank you. Waiting. I'm working on my calendar.
Yes.
So we have the link up here. It's indiegogo.com/project/Sharksquatch. I think if you just look up Sharksquatch, Indiegogo,
probably gotta narrow it down that way.
Yeah. There aren't competing Sharksquatches. So we're good.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yes.
What would it be like if you generated this new idea of people doing Sharksquatch?
A Sharksquatch cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed.
I would be down for that. If it's like after this one, someone's like, hey, I want to do an origin or like a prequel or sequel or a space
shoot
one.
Him to space, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, space. I mean, normally space is set for like what episode 10 or something, but I'm thinking space on the second one. Just why not?
Just go.
I wish it was 4.
Yeah.
Sharksquatch 2.
Somewhere an average.
Yeah.
Exactly. Plays to be in space.
Yes, exactly.
Sharksquatch.
Well, this little bubble just came up on Greg's head there. Yeah.
It happens on
Did
the.
you see that?
The
it looked like Addison.
I thought I got into some of that psychedelic squatch.
Yeah,
what's going on there?
If Sharksquatch is in space, what kind of helmet does it wear?
Ooh.
Or do you just put a little breather on the gills?
Oh. It just keeps its mouth shut.
Yeah.
You were thinking about that, weren't you?
All right.
Yeah.
I like this.
Or maybe that's the origin of where they're from, so they don't need helmets.
Oh.
So
I always like that in sci-fi movies when the scientists are like, this planet has an atmosphere. We can take our helmets off.
Yeah, they
Like,
just kind of
okay.
hold up.
Yeah.
The readings show it's good, and then you just take it off, so you don't have to worry about reflection or breathing or condensation or anything like that. Yeah.
I like it. So Galen Howard involvement. I'm a huge Galen Howard fan.
Great.
He just puts a smile on my face anytime I see the man, so that's a big plus.
Yeah, that was Greg. It was like he was reading the character, this Jeff character, and he's like, "How about Galen?" And he showed me a photo, and I was like, I didn't get the name, and I was like, yeah, that's almost how it's all been. It was just like I had a completely different mind for like John Karras' character of Zach in my head, and Greg's like, "What about this?" And it was John Karras, and I was like, "Oh my God, that was the opposite of what I was thinking." But I'm 100% even more in now. So that was kind of it. Everything's been outside of what I was thinking, but it's always just Greg pulling up a photo on his phone and then me just going, "This is 100% correct."
Amazing. That sounds like a really fun time.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the campaign. I'm really excited about now I'm in the nuts and bolts of breaking stuff down, like scenes and shot things and really finalizing. I'm really excited just to start shooting it. Well, I'm excited about getting the head. The head I'll have soon. I'm excited about shooting it. Yeah, because it seems fun. I'm excited about shooting and just having fun and just try not to overthink it. Just go in, have some fun. Don't I don't need 22-hour days. It's Sharksquatch. We're fine.
So when are the plans to I know obviously you have the campaign going now, 25 days, so people should get in on that.
Yes.
When would be the plans to shoot it then? You said when it's cold, which we're coming up in the cold weather.
Yes, right now we're sort of working on a couple different calendars. It's definitely going to due to schedules. I mean, once again, I also want to work with everyone. Everyone has jobs, so it's if you get a job, I will work around your schedule. And then there's the location cameos. So I already kind of know it'll probably be it's probably a 10-day movie over 2 months. And I'm okay with that. And and a lot of the kills that we have built in, the main kills, are separate from the cast. So those can actually be shot separate. So my goal is to start maybe knocking out a few scenes in November to get some of the core, everyone who's around, because now we're going to get in holidays and stuff like that. And then a bulk of it in December. And then location cameos, my guess will probably end up being January because it's Christmas time, so I'm not going to hey, it's this weekend or nothing. It's if you sit there going, you know what, January 13th is the only day I have available. It's like, great, I'll make sure I'm available and then we'll shoot it. So I just want it to be as easy for everyone and not, anyone lose out on anything or feel stressed. It's just like this, and we'll build, Greg and I will meet again and we'll sort of build a schedule with everyone and go, all right, these 4 days are great. Let's knock out these scenes that everyone's in. And then I can piece it together because Brisa, Doug, everyone has a lot of solo scenes. So I'm going to shoot those available. It's like, great, you're available this weekend. Great. This is a Brisa heavy day. This is a John heavy day. And then the group scenes when everyone's available.
Yeah. Greg, are you going to be in it?
I don't know.
Yes. He just doesn't know it yet.
So yeah. I mean, I guess so. I didn't really think about it. I mean, to me, since I'm the DP, so I'm the I'm the DP and then the co-producer.
Yeah.
But as the DP, I always sort of only can think in my mindset of setting up shots, and it's I don't know how to set up a shot that I'm in, so I never go into that mindset. But of course, I'm happy to be in it if there's a way to do that. I mean, Robert knows his way around the camera and stuff, and so so we have a set of people that could shoot something. So yeah, I'm obviously happy to be in it, but I don't know what any specific plan is yet. So I haven't signed that part of the contract.
I don't tell Greg anything, so he doesn't know yet.
That's how you should treat. That's how you should keep the producers. They don't need.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in a need to know basis.
Yeah, correct.
Look, Greg, do you enjoy acting? Because I know you mostly is you're writing and you're directing, but you've also been in a lot of different things. So is that something you enjoy?
When I was in high school and I made my first movies, I was always in them because I could rely on myself to actually show up to film. Like it's like if I was the only one available, I could film something because I was there. But that speaks back again to the idea of trying to set up shots that you're in. You can't move the camera. You have the restrictions on that. So it was never something that I like to do. And I this is like a corny thing to say, but I never was going to be like the Alfred Hitchcock like Lee, who's like in all their movies or anything. That never interested me. But lately, I kind of did get bitten by the acting bug because of acting, again, how we met and acting in Kansas's film and stuff. It was really scary because I had like 7 lines and Kansas shoots on film. So you have 7 lines in film, shot on film. You really have to like be into it. But,
I was very nervous going into that experience.
Yeah. And it was the first time I had really like acted in some. I mean, I think I always forget that I'm in Psycho 1 for like a minute, but I am in that. But I'm always embarrassed by that scene. I'm in Hectic Knife as well. I always kind of forget. I'm kind of embarrassed by that too. But yes, to really answer your question, I've kind of been bitten by the bug. It's not something that I'm like actively pursuing, but I'm happy to like kind of do more of it. So if anybody listening is like making something they want to throw me in it, I'm like happy to be. But it's not something I'm like trying to do full time or anything.
I think I saw a post of yours. I think it was early this year about like enjoying doing it and would like to do some more.
Great. Oh, and congratulations on your art, Greg.
Oh yeah,
I know it's a little like off topic, but I mean that's really exciting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
People check out Greg's art. Find him. It's cool.
I was gonna say there's if you already know Greg, you follow him, but there's also a link to his Instagram with the art in the campaign.
Can I ask you? So I want to ask this. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'll post a link too in the description. Okay. It's a serious question about your art.
Yeah.
Now you did it, for very personal reasons originally. So what was it like then to show people your art?
It's a good question. Over the year, so I started doing drawings about 5 years ago, and I started doing them purely as art therapy. So I would have like panic attacks, and a therapist suggested that I draw, and she just like a coloring book. It wasn't till I started things. It was do this. Sounded like a great idea. That quickly evolved into using a blank page, but again, it was only ever done for that reason. And it doesn't mean that every single time I draw I'm like having a panic attack, but it's just kind of like I either do it for fun or I do it to be calm. So the point being that I never originally intended, first of all, I never thought of myself as someone that can draw, and then beyond that I never thought of these as anything that I would sell or anything like that. But what would happen was over the years I would give them away, just that sometimes as like someone would do something, help on a film somehow, and I would give one away, or Kansas's character in Bad Brain actually used them all, the physical pieces, as props. I use it as draw as if they're hers. So things like that happened, and I would give a few away and this and that. And some friends would like hang them up and stuff. I never really thought much of it until more recently, and it was honestly Brisa helped a lot with this and was really inspiring to me to start to really do this. But no, it was just the more that people would see them, they would just respond, or they would just say like, hey, this is cool, or this is something that you could sell. And I again never really thought too much of it, but it got to a point where it sort of made sense to at least try. And I guess the thing that's been positive about it as a sort of byproduct of that is that like, because of the personal story that I have with them, sometimes like on Instagram and stuff, there might be other people that like, it's happened where message like, hey, I lost my brother, or this happened, and I started drawing or doing art for a similar reason, and we could kind of talk about that stuff. So it's actually a nice sort of antenna up to like say that. I mean, I have to admit that I definitely feel vulnerable about it sometimes. It's not something that I like meant to do as like a salesy thing. But the idea of them being out there is really special. And I've, it's been up for about a month. I've managed to sell 10 of them. Granted, those 10 were generally to like friends and stuff. It wasn't necessarily, and I'm not doing too much beyond that, but it's been fun. And I owe a lot to Marisa for helping with that, and it's just been a nice thing, I guess. Yeah.
It's wonderful to see. I'm so happy for you. So, Marisa, yay!
Yes, very nice.
I'm really glad for that.
Yeah,
it's great.
And Greg looks genuinely happy here, so that's good. As opposed to sometimes he's faking it. But no, but no, I just thought it was also interesting because obviously you have different versions of art out there, your movies and stuff. So I didn't know, how different that is.
Like I said, I never considered myself someone that can draw. I know it sounds weird, someone saying that's like selling drawings, but if you look at them, you might understand what I mean in the sense that I don't have traditional drawing skills. Like, for example, Annabelle did a very brilliant drawing that's in Psycho 2.
Yes.
I can't recreate a face and make it look real. I don't have traditional or formal training in the actual art of drawing. The things that I do is more inspired by artists like Kandinsky, where you're just moving around dots and circles and shapes and squares and stuff. And it's fun to do, and it's colorful, and there's composition and abstract and stuff. But I never drew a picture in my life before I started doing this. It was just something I'm doing for therapy, and kind of evolved it into something that, you could say, hey, that looks kind of neat, or that looks interesting. So I'm proud of them a lot. But again, some of them I do in 20 minutes and they're done, or some of them I take a couple hours. But again, that's kind of my process. I don't go into them with a plan, and I can't. If you were to ask me to draw like a realistic tree or face or anything, it's like I don't know what to do.
But that's not all art is.
Right.
As a person that does, I have run an art therapy group. It's not about, do you have technical skill? It's
right.
Not, that's great and it has its place. Of course, yes, sometimes that is needed for a purpose. But for people to be able to make art, to all y'all, it's not about, hey, you might not ever sell it, but it's for, what are you getting out of it yourself as a human?
Yeah.
Or how are you connecting with other people? That's, I think, the most important thing about art is the connection, whether it's with you as a personal connection about your own experiences, or if you're having these experiences now of connecting with other people, which is amazing. So what is that like to be having something that was very personal to now be having that connection beyond the financial part? Now you've got, you said the sharing and people connecting with you and communicating with you about how you've got the same experience or similar experiences emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it feels vulnerable. I'm not gonna lie, but it's also positive. It feels good. I one thing I think I may have posted about or said is that, like, on Instagram with my art page, what I'll basically do is, so like Kandinsky is an artist that's like a huge inspiration to me, and there's a few other pages that are sort of similar. And if you look at Kandinsky's Instagram page, for example, let's say he has there's 50,000 people that follow that page. Well, I'll go on and just sort of start following as many of the followers as I can of that, kind of knowing that I'm casting out a net to people that are just making their own handmade art as well. So when I scroll through that feed of the art page, I'm basically seeing outsider art and handmade art from all around the world from people like me. And again, a similar thing with mine. They might only have 30 likes on a thing like I do, and we're just kind of looking at each other's stuff. And these are just they could be in Spain or Italy or Canada or where across all over. And it's really nice to see all this stuff from around the world, and that there's so many other people that, not that they're all doing it for therapy or anything, but that they're just doing stuff, and how eclectic that is and how interesting that all is. So it's just, it can be vulnerable. And I'm someone that's always been kind of bashful about selling myself or selling stuff. But I feel like I've gotten to a point in my life where I kind of just have to start getting over that fear, if it's an ego thing or whatever it is, just because I'm almost 40 and I'm making Psycho and Sharksquatch and Jon. I got to try to I got to try to show that world somehow. So
I love that.
But
we can have a whole conversation. I'm gonna go off about outsider art and my I guess we won't have that conversation.
Oh, you scared him away now. Thanks, man.
Nope. I am not ready for that conversation.
Oh my goodness.
You had to prove he's shy about this.
Yes. No, that's I mean that's the thing. It's I'm this isn't who I am in a way. Like I love talking to movies with friends. Like you guys are fantastic, and would be a group of people. Like we'd like movie night. We'd all be talking and stuff like that. But the one thing, Greg, it's like you just have to sell yourself, and it's like it's one thing when you're at work and you have to like, I have to go to this meeting, I have to talk, and I have to do all this stuff. You just do it. It's work. You don't think about it. But when it's something that you want to do yourself, it's like, oh, I'm making Sharksquatch. I have to talk about it. People have to know I had this idea in my head. Like, first of all, they're going to be like, wait, this was what you think about? Well, yes, in a way.
That kind of takes you out of your comfort zone,
Yeah, and so it's just even, putting, yourself out there to do all this stuff is it's different because like what I really admire with the Greg and Addison, all these, there was that generation like with them, because talk it as if I'm 100 years old.
100 years old.
I feel like 100.
Troy is older, so thank you, Troy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and like this is a shy guy that's wearing like a shirt that he made, right?
You're amazing.
So
it's awesome.
It's goofy shit,
Yeah. So it's like the thing. It's like the generation that just was sort of fearless about just making stuff and putting it out there and not worrying about whatever. It's like the sort of pre-YouTubers in a way where it's just like they made stuff and they put it out there. The backyard people, they made it, and it's like. And I think maybe it helps growing outside of Hollywood, where it's like I was born and raised in LA, so it's like I've always been here. So it's like if it's like, oh, you want to make a film? Well, it's like, well, is it shot on 70? Who's your sound? And it's like, well, you can only present it if it's who's the star. So it's
Are we sideways?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's kind of cool.
Hello.
I like that.
Sorry. Let me. Sorry.
Just to remind you, Greg is shooting Sharksquatch. So just heads up on. This is what,
sorry about that.
This is exactly how the film will look.
Yes, exactly.
This is the man who the filming is in his hands.
So Robert, you were talking about, it sounds like your identity as a person who grew up in LA and then trying to be within that system of LA has like LA rules, it sounds like.
And that's how it always felt. So it's like, my core group of friends who I sort of, tagged on to that really wanted to make films. They went to the film school and I just like, well, I'm not going to film school. I'm just going to move to Hollywood and get a job in Homeboys in Outer Space, everyone, so I was making it. I recommend Homeboys. No. So it was that thing of like the idea of shooting on film and making film, and I was already doing it. And then it just became a thing where it's like, well, if I can't do it that way, then I can't do it. And even like with the filmmakers, like of that time where it was the Jim Jarmusch and then, Richard Linklater and Kevin Smith, all those people, or Robert Rodriguez, that were sort of doing it, but it felt different because like, oh, well, they're outside of Hollywood and they were able to break in, where it's like here it felt like you had to do it differently. And so, but I was happy doing what I was doing. I fell into post. I like sitting, like I said, I'd like sitting in dark rooms and finding boom shadows. It's kind of my jam. And, but just meeting the right people and going back to what I really kind of felt like I wanted to do when I came out here. And if this is it, like, honestly, it's like, I just want to have fun. I like meeting all of you and meeting Greg and Addison and Brissa, John, and everyone it's been so enjoyable again to be out here. And if this is it, like if I make this one movie and we all have a good time and that's it, that's fine. I'm okay. It's like, I just want to do it because the community has been so great. And I think it's really inspiring again to be here in a different way than it used to be.
Yeah. To kind of piggyback on that statement really quick. I mean, I think Robert hit on something that's true, that these movements in the 90s, and if we even go back further and go back to like John Waters and that stuff, I love all that stuff. And I grew up like being a little kid that was really inspired by those indie movements of the 90s. And, obviously the top level of that is like your Tarantinos and stuff. And then, but the Jarmushes and the Rodriguez's and all the Kevin Smith and all that. Even though Clerks was only made for $20,000, which is, what we're asking for in this Indiegogo and, the budget of Bad Brain and all that stuff. But even though Clerks is only $20,000, there's something about those films that still feels a little bit unattainable or inside the gates. I think part of it has to do with them being on film. I think part of it has to do with the idea of them still being released through these like major studios that had to find them through major festival pipelines. And granted, yes, that was in the early days of Sundance when it wasn't such a big thing, but it's still, I think that something that's really magical about today is that there's this homegrown thing that on that same kind of budget or a lot less, you can make something and it'll end up being shown on a TV, and Robert and his friends in an editing room will be watching it like within the next year. Whereas, again, I think in the 90s, in those earlier periods, there were hundreds and hundreds of films, maybe thousands, tens of thousands, that were made that have just never seen the day because they got into some little festival, then they premiered, and then they never got bought, and then they don't really exist anymore, and they just kind of disappeared from memory because they didn't have a Tubi or an Amazon or whatever, a Fossum or any of those places to put it. So I think that what we're seeing nowadays is this real grassroots movement from everywhere, the kind of dismantling of the home base of the industry, and anyone can do this from anywhere, and all you need is a phone or whatever. And there's something really magical about that. I mean, there's people out there that like to say that like cinema is dying, but I don't know. There's still big movies that fill up AMC's every single weekend. There's still little movies that don't fill up AMC's that are still screening every day. And there's still, I think that the underground scene is thriving in a way that it never did before, times a billion. And again, I think people like the John Waters, the Kevin Smith, they paved the way for that. But we've finally gotten to a place where it really feels like anyone can just go do this. And that's like, that sort of democratization of the whole thing is really kind of magical.
So well said.
Yeah.
That's good, like quotable. That's an inspirational poster on the filmmaker's wall.
Yes.
Wayne Gretzky only made as many movies as he could miss the net when he shot.
Yes. Something like that. In that order or something.
I had a few more pictures here, so I like this one.
I love that it's over you.
No, that's
my god.
Yeah.
Amazing. It
Very
makes a little face for your
scientific.
hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
This comes out at the beard.
Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
The suit's really, I really dig it.
I love
the
that.
suit
Yeah,
a
that
bit.
fur is amazing.
Yes.
I can't
I
imagine
get all the hugs
that
in the
that
world.
fabric was made for anything but this. It's very,
I know.
very weird.
Oh dear.
Yeah, like unless you're making like an abstract pillow or something, like
Maybe, yeah.
like once I put it on, I was like, what else is this for? So,
Don't you guys know it's farmed from actual Sasquatch?
Oh
first,
yeah,
authentic.
it's like a sheep. They
come in
have like
for a trim,
they're shaving them
Yeah,
off in
exactly.
the summertime, and they grow back.
You're very kind, Neil, to think that this is a replenishable source rather than skinning.
Yeah, I'm thinking that could be a
Skinning,
short.
you're like, oh, it's like a sheep.
No
and
Sasquatch
yeah,
leather on this
that
one.
could be a
you know.
short
it was the
film.
shearing season of
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
That's a short film in its own. It's like it's
Yeah, there you
guy
go.
who's shearing the Sasquatch, and that's just it. It's 2 minutes long.
That
That's
could
it.
be a
It's a short
behind the
film.
scenes thing.
Yeah.
There's no real story or arc or anything. And
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that shirt.
yes, that was
That is a great one.
that's Dio, the head maker, and that's why I had the shirt on. I was like, well, this is kind of perfect for the photo. So that was the one I'm holding was the almost locked, so that we have the gills, the placement of the where the eyes are actually going to be sticking out. It was about how much the eyes need to stick out. So if you're looking straight, you can see eyes on the side, even though it's not logically, but you need to see them. And then we did teeth placement, like how all the teeth were going to go. And the second head was just to make sure they look the same. So
I'm already scared. I'm so terrified of sharks. Like irrationally, I really am irrationally terrified of sharks. Neil knows this. This is my phobia. I didn't watch. What's the movie I didn't watch?
Madison's Maddie's movie.
Yes.
Yeah, Bathtub Shark.
That was my childhood nightmare. Is that I'd think, this isn't logical. This could never happen. What if I'm the first? What if I'm in the shower, taking a shower, and everybody just doesn't find my body, but it's like this trans-dimensional shark that's actually killed me.
When Jaws came out in 1975, my mom was 13, and she was afraid to take a shower after she saw the movie because she's
our mom's the same way. She's a little older, but she's very,
no sense
very
at all.
afraid.
But here we are.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna have the link for everything. Where is the Psycho Ape 1 and 2? Where's it playing for LA people?
That's tomorrow night at Gardena Cinema in
Our friends
Gardena.
at Gardena, yeah.
Addison, I believe it's at 7 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock, I've heard. It's a double feature, so it's 1 and 2. So yeah, if we're doing
there at 7.
Yeah,
So-
get some popcorn and yeah.
It's an awesome theater. Thank you. Big shout out. Thank you to Bill DeFrance, who does.
He's a great guy.
And he programmed it, and he's also in the movie and helped out a little bit on the movie. We love Bill. We're a big supporter of him. That's really cool. I mean, to find so Psycho Ape 1, that's screening on Night Flight Plus, Rewindo. It's on Amazon. You can order the DVD through Addison. The second one is also on Rewindo. It screens like kind of all around. If you want to book it, if you want to show it, if you want to have a house party, if you want to have a theater screening, let us know. It's kind of like always playing somewhere each month. So that's always exciting. We're
New England,
Salem.
Salem,
yep.
All y'all out there, it's perfect. You get to visit Salem, Massachusetts, the home of so much terrible history, but interesting history. Come on out, Salem Cinema.
That one?
Cool. It's literally in the heart of Salem. It's a great place to be. That's you, Addison. I know you're gonna be there.
Are you guys coming to that screening or no?
No, maybe.
Maybe.
Yes.
How far away is it?
From me?
Yeah.
Like an hour.
Oh,
Yeah, Salem's
It's actually
not close to
literally
any
the town.
place.
Is what day of the week is it? A Saturday?
Sunday.
It's
a random Sunday.
It's a random Sunday. We don't know.
No.
Yes, it is very near.
Yeah,
It is
December
very
15th.
near. Me an hour. I drive that far to work. My work is a town over.
Hey,
So
I get it. I drive for a
I'm
living.
lying.
Driving
I
can
can
be
do it.
grueling if you don't like it.
I can do it.
Okay.
Okay,
That'd be
Neil
awesome.
will. Yeah.
You leave it a
What about
seat.
Neil?
The
Oh,
moment.
they don't want me there.
Of course we did. You kidding me?
Neil's one of the.
No, it's a lot farther for me, but I'm going to try to make it.
Yeah,
I would love to
yeah.
do it.
Well, we saw Michael and Sophia at the latest screening that we had. It was here in downtown LA. and it
December
was-
5th. I'm sorry, December 15th in Salem. I just went and grabbed the date.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well,
The Annabelle's photo gets her picture gets big laughs in at screenings.
Definitely.
Big laughs.
Oh, okay. I was like, my picture.
No,
of
that's my
myself.
photo.
I'm like,
I think you show a photo of Annabelle and people.
Okay. Screenshot of and embedded in the movie.
my childhood fears come true.
No. Your hilarious Bill Whedon photo is it gets
Yeah.
big.
Yes.
You have to figure out what to do with the
We'll
original.
both be there,
Right
Addison.
over
It'll be a
here.
good time.
Yeah.
We'll both be there.
There you
It'll be a
go.
good time.
You guys have to decide what to do with the original.
10, 15, 20 people in a theater, it gets crazy because the laughs are loud,
Yeah. It's always fun. But for now, we're excited about Arbor Day, and of course, we're excited about Sharksquatch. And it sounds like you got the link posted, so people can check out the Indiegogo. And
Yeah, I have it here. I'll post it in the YouTube thing. Our website is currently suspended, so but when the website is up, there's lots of issues going on.
I
with my
heard that in
brand.
the previous interview, and it made me, thankful I didn't call it, Nazi Squatch. So,
Big good call.
Yeah. So yeah, the YouTube we're considered hate speech at the moment, and the website has been suspended. But
You are very hateful.
yes,
very hateful man. But
nothing but
well,
bile and
yeah.
horrible content
Dang.
on this interview.
Well, we're sorry, Neil. Dang.
Yeah, it's sort of back up. Shout out to Tyler, our webmaster. He has. I can't post any new shows currently, but I could post them through him. People don't know need to know the details, but hopefully the whole website will be back up.
Withoutyourhead.com.
Yeah, the withoutyourhead.com website. Yeah.
That place.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Neil. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Greg.
you, everyone.
Thank
and
you,
if
Robert.
anyone, if anyone has questions, reach out.
And
Sharksquatch.
thank you, Brissa.
Yeah,
thank you, Brissa.
great.
You.
Chris
Yeah,
is the
Addison,
coolest thing
he's
ever.
all right.
Oh
He's
my God.
back there. Yeah. No, Addison's a good guy. Yeah.
You say that in person in December, Neil. December 15th in Salem, Massachusetts. Bring the popcorn.
All right, yeah, I'm a popcorn man.
No, I know you are.
Yeah, breakfast popcorn and mango.
Oh, right. Yes, I made the nicest fruit salad. It's like Addison had his first breakfast meals ever.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really go together, but yes, I did have popcorn and fruit salad one day.
Wonderful.
But like Greg was saying earlier on, it's really cool because there's so many connections here. I met Robert through Psychowave 2. And then, they got together, Greg and Robert, they're making Sharksquatch. Everyone's, meets each other through these cool, weird films and then, work with each other and other stuff. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, the community part is so amazing. Since I came like totally from left field. I just didn't have any idea when I joined Without Your Head what I was doing. Had no plans. I'd never been to a convention or anything. I wanted to work in cinema, but that didn't happen. So now to be here and meeting all of you and meeting all these interesting people and learning about this community, it's really beautiful to see and have like even a tiny part of. It's amazing.
And contributing nude sketches of Bill Whedon to our movie.
Yes, I can get it and show it.
Yeah, there you
go. Should. So y'all can see. It'll entice you to go to Psycho.
Who hasn't
Arbor Day will be the first Bill Whedon movie in like a decade where there's no nudity.
He will try to make it, though.
That can't.
He will try to make it happen. You know it.
How dare you even think about breaking the streak?
Breaking the streak. I love it.
You can't do that.
I don't know. Maybe you need to find a way to like get in there, Neil.
We'll figure it out. But
he'll impose it. Don't worry. He'll get it.
Sharksquatch have a little. That's the only you can have a cameo of Bill Whedon's like 70-year-old ween.
85-year-old.
No way. It is not.
Well, he's 85, but the ween's only 70.
Oh, that's right. It was a late.
Damn.
He got that when it was a birthday present when he was 12.
God.
Bill Whedon's a good guy.
We love Bill.
We all love Bill Whedon, and we love Sharksquatch and
yes,
Psycho
that's
8.
exciting.
Yeah,
Sharksquatch. Yeah.
Even before I saw who was involved, I saw the picture of Sharksquatch, and I was like, "Oh, this is wild." Then I saw the people involved, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yep.
And so I was happy this came
put
about.
Up the fin for that.
That's what all the Sharksquatch fans have to do. That needs to be on a shirt as well, which it is one of the perks right now.
Sticker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Use a surfboard or something. Will you have a surfboard?
I mean, maybe. With a bite taken out of it.
A big story arc.
What if he surfed? This is the future. Dance routine.
Maybe yes. Sharksquatch 5.
If he's in space, he could be like the
Silver Surfer.
Yeah, there
you
go. I'll just change the S's to 5s for the 5th one. So.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, Sharksquatch, Silver Surfer, destined.
They're perfect.
Well, hopefully when Neil and I figure out our month in LA, because that needs to happen, we'll be able to see everybody.
Of course.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We have to. There's no other way but a month in LA. But really great to meet you all and to learn more.
Thank you so much for having us on and letting us talk Sharksquatch. I really appreciate it all.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Thank you.
Can't wait to even get a teaser trailer to you guys.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So, that's another new thing for Greg. He's come into the world of trailers.
Yes. I sure have. It only took 5 years to finally have a Psychowave 1 trailer that's coming soon.
But it's good.
Look out for that.
It's good.
It's good. All right.
Don't worry. It's good.
Sharksquatch on Indiegogo. Psychowave playing Gardena tomorrow. Where can people follow you, Brissa?
Oh, on Instagram under Brisa Monique, and that's it. Or you can follow me in real life. I like to take
I don't think you
like
that out.
up on
Yeah,
don't give that invitation.
You know what kind of people listen to this?
You don't know our fan base, do you?
Yeah, just there.
All right, very good. Well, it's good to meet you and good to see everybody, and we'll talk to everyone soon.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Good
night. Good night. Good folks there. Boom! Ah!
You did it! Yay! Neil's finally giving people the. Whoa! You gave us the boot.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Okay.
I'm
I'm so proud of
Boom. Yeah, look at this. Have you seen this? Look.
Oh, look at that. Sweet.
Oh, I'm kind of in love.
That's awesome. I'm feeling good about my little Sprite.
Yeah, I thought she came out really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have the finishing touch. I was like, oh, I got to put something in the hands, and then I put in the sides, and I was like, oh, no, I really like it now.
Technically, those are sickles.
Well, what?
Scythe is the big
All right.
sickle. Those sickles I have are sweet. It's amazing. That's so gross. Good job,
It
Troy.
is so nasty.
I created a monster getting Troy liquid latex.
I know.
No, it's awesome.
I love it. Look
It
how
even has like little fur around the navel. So.
Oh, I saw that in the pictures. It's like little hairs. That was really.
That's actually old brush bristles that I trimmed off and.
Like your hairbrush bristles?
Oh no, like a paintbrush bristle.
Like this is.
No, like
some kind of
sable hair brush
thing you
bristles
made.
there.
Okay.
We spent the afternoon with Andrew and Brian, and we went and picked up Andrew, and so he got to see the intestines up close and personal because they were in the back seat.
What did he think?
Because you always drive around with large intestines in the back seat. Who doesn't?
Yeah,
he loved them, and we didn't realize this. So his dad has made him like different costumes and stuff for like plays he's been in, and his dad made him like devil horns, or what's it? What kind of horns?
I think they were devil horns. Yeah.
Yeah, for a play he did out of liquid latex. So
wow, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And he told me like somehow I'm gonna have to look into it. If you bake them, they get hard, and that's gonna add like a whole new thing that I can make all kinds of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this stuff we want like we can move around, but
Squirmy.
some of the stuff would be
But then like even doing like some fake like weapons and things, if I could craft them with this stuff and then like bake them and make them hard, it'd be kind of cool.
Be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to see your things. I've finally started drawing again. I had like the October break, which didn't end up being the break I expected.
No.
But now I've got my drawing board. I was working on stuff last night that I always feel weird about showing. I always wonder, like, should I show it? Should I not show it? Is it a teaser or a spoiler? I don't know.
I think it really depends on what it is.
It's not in the movie.
Okay.
It's not like a character spoiler. It's over here. It kind of looks.
Yeah, go get it.
Oh, now you're teasing us. Now you got to show.
Try to. Let's see over here. Oh, I got this too. This is exciting. You guys are gonna love this. First and foremost, hopefully we don't get banned. But
Oh, that's tremendous.
This is the original Bill Whedon that was just discussed about Psycho Ape 2. This is pretty sweet, right?
I love it.
I love it. That's
I don't know where it's going to go, but there's got to be some decisions made. I thought about maybe Bill would love this.
Oh, you know he would. He'd go berserko.
So, could be a Bill. But the thing I've been drawing, which is, I've not decided if it's awkward anatomy looking thing. It's hard to see. This is actually my dream end sequence that probably will not happen, but it's cool. This is part of the face of what is going to be a monster, and there's its like front feet, and it's gonna go into, in my mind, go into Larry.
Oh, that's awesome.
And see Larry's sweet eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to learn about Larry's mouth. This isn't finalized.
Okay.
And then there would be cultists. Now I don't think this is actually going to happen, so I don't think it's a spoiler. But in my dreams,
you never know.
In my dreams, and I can't get it. If it would, then I can't get into the whole entire scene. It would be pretty fucking cool. I'm just saying.
I'm digging it.
Here we go. Thank you.
Digging. I'm trying to grab a couple of photos from earlier today.
Yes.
We're not going to do a super long show, but we had great guests tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the show is on. I am ill, but it's been a pleasure to be here tonight, and I'm glad I decided to do it. Because I was like, and I really am tired, but it's very worth it to be here with all y'all and the two. Well, it was technically more than two, but I know Greg and I've heard of Johannes, and now I've got more people in my world. It's great. So that lovely community thing that we were talking about earlier. Look at that. Oh my Lord.
They would do, I was a good director on that when I told them to do the Fay Ray pose.
Oh my.
So that's Andrew and Steve.
Well, what's Andrew's name in the movie?
Percy and Steve.
Percy and Steve.
Yes, Percy and Steve. It got really cold.
Him. He's so adorable.
We got a bunch of video too. We did some interviews of what people are looking forward to the movie and stuff. So I don't know if we'll save that for down the road or if we'll put a little bit up. I don't know, but we got a bunch. We got quite a bit, so it's fun.
Yeah.
Do we have a cast announcement today?
I didn't have time to get one because I'm also sick. So.
Yeah, you seem like you're sick.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my God.
Back.
He's so cute. He's so cute.
Let me grab.
I want to adopt him. I do. Really, I've heard such nice things about this boy.
Oh yeah, he's just a sweet kid. He's just awesome.
Here's
I like your new setup here, Troy, by the way.
You like that? That's my pop-up camera. Isn't that pretty neat?
It's excellent. Excellent.
Brand new PC. All things are good.
How are you liking it?
I'm kind of loving it. It's like stupid fast and does everything I want it to do, which is pretty
wonderful. Neat. Yes. So it's one
Actually,
of those things
all
that
kinds of new stuff. We got like a new furnace, a new water heater, all kinds of new stuff. Unfortunately, like what prompted us to do all this, but
now it's kind of like, well, now we've got
bite the bullet, you know. Yeah. Oh, the whole game.
Oh, look at that, Troy! Those shoes are awesome.
I always have the good kicks, you know.
They're awesome.
Well, Brian looks like some kind of crazy giant.
I know he looks huge.
Like a giant. How big is he actually? Is he a giant?
6'3", maybe.
That's pretty
he's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Yeah, that's like just before ridiculous tall.
Yeah, and with the stash is what just makes.
Is that a legit scar? He's got like a wow. I want to know the story.
Oh no, that's his mustache.
No, he's got a little scar above it.
No, that's the mustache that I'm looking at, right?
Oh, yeah, but he does have a little scar above that.
Oh, okay.
Neil knows this.
I looked like a crazy Willie Nelson in that one with the headband. I kind of dug it.
We have ones with headbands, one without.
Willie Nelson's still alive.
I know.
We made some friends with a lot of dogs. Came over while we were shooting.
We were attacked by wild dogs.
Right? Dogs.
They were all pretty sweet though. But then I got home and like Meg's had a little rolling pin. She's like, "You've been fucking around with another dog, haven't you?" You got me.
How are your pups?
They're all good.
We should put up pictures of them sometime. You know how we'll like suddenly, oh my God. I love that dog breed. I didn't know about them for years. Then I was in a relationship with someone and that's the dog they wanted. Why?
Oh, Shibas, yeah. Make sure you're like a veteran like dog owner though, because Shibas are tough.
They're
not
smart.
an easy dog. Yeah, they're too smart.
Yeah. Smart dogs, like, it sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, that's like, oh, my dog's going to be so smart. Like, well, you best be prepared for that smart dog.
And then Naito, I don't know if we don't use the R word around the Burgess Jones household, but he was the runt of the litter. And so he's got a chip on his shoulder. So the first thing he does is find the biggest dog in the room and then wants to fight it. Like, dude, you're 18 pounds. Stop. Do not fight that Rottweiler. Don't do it.
It's really that small? Like, I've known cats that
because he's small.
Pounds.
Yeah. Our biggest one is Maru. He's about 24 pounds.
Really?
But he's our mellow guy.
Small.
Big Maru he'll give up his belly to a squirrel. He doesn't care.
Aww.
He's like, don't want to fight anybody. Just do it.
So they're like a balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. It's like
And
Johannes talking about the nice grandpa versus the Nazi.
Exactly. Oh, look at that action pose.
Wow.
Here was when the dogs came up.
Oh.
Oh, yep.
The hounds.
Paul and Neil right there.
Yeah.
What's the dog in the I see these are 2 beagles. I don't know what the thing is back there.
I think there were 3 beagles.
It had a white muzzle. It was very interesting.
Beagles are loud. I couldn't.
Yeah, they are.
Hounds.
Then there was some more dogs. Different dogs came up too. There was 2 sets of dogs.
Poodle, like mixed breeds.
Like doodles?
Yeah, one was, and then the other one was a different thing altogether. The doodles are creepy though, because it looks like a person in a dog suit. I don't think they're really dogs at all. Because my nephew
genius came up with these bullshit breeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a doodle.
Yeah, it's no longer a mutt or a mongrel. Now it's this sweet
doodle. It costs like twice as much as a primary breed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A pure breed of what it is. I guess a primary breed makes sense in its way. Like a primary color, and you blend them, and then you get a secondary.
I like it.
Yeah, primary breed. What are you doing over there, Neil? You look busy.
I was grabbing a couple of pictures here.
Oh.
Do you have any with Andrew kicking? Because the pipe is where it's at.
That's definitely his mustache.
You're right. Brian does have a little scar though behind that.
Yeah, it's
like
up. It's up behind. Yeah, it's behind the mustache there.
He really only grew the mustache that crazy to hide the scar.
It could be. I bet
That's
that
a nice
was like.
pipe.
Yeah, that is a sweet pipe.
Yeah, I got the pipe for the movie, and then the hat's mine.
It'll be in the credits. Neil's hat.
No, I'm just saying. Like the pipe I got for the movie, I thought it was a cool pipe. So.
It's nice.
Even has its own little bag and stuff.
Really fancy.
And after that, I thought Brian will make a good Dr. Watson if we can find like a cool Sherlock.
You'd have to have a taller Sherlock, though.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, that's why I was getting this one. Andrew, I think by the time we film the movie, maybe end up being the tallest person in the film. Because every time I see him, he's taller. So.
What is he got in his mouth?
A whistle.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's the JoJo
whistle.
Yeah.
Whistle.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. This is army pants.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I believe his dad's in the military, or was in the military.
Definitely army. That's army pants.
All right, here's one with Andrew and Troy doing, because Andrew started doing these kicks, so then Troy got in on it. Let me grab it here. No, Troy, you're looking pretty good with the kick too. There, you got the leg up pretty high. Yeah.
He's got a sweet shoe.
If I would have had my
Nice. You didn't fall? Because I would fall in that position. I mean, that was pretty good.
I was a young teenager.
Brian with the hat and the bandana is very.
That is pretty awesome. I do love that. And then he looks like Bluto there or something.
Yeah,
he'd be fighting Popeye.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna beat some ass.
He does. I never realized my friend was a big scary man until I gotta watch out when I liquor him up. Like he might hurt me one day.
Is he the guy that goes to the arcade?
Yeah.
Yep. Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But that is my advice, Annabelle, when it comes to your shark Jaws phobia. You got to play the Jaws pinball machine. It will go a long way in your recovery.
And it's over there in, where is it? Rhode Island?
Mm-hmm. Providence has 2 separate places. Each one has one.
Love Providence.
Pizza J has both the Jaws and the Labyrinth.
Yeah, it's we haven't played that. I haven't played that one yet. And then it's got the coolest Haven Brothers burgers. It's the oldest food truck in the country, I think. It's been around since the 1800s. It's insane.
Best burger I've ever had.
I don't know what they were in the 1800s. Oh, it's so good.
When you guys go out, you go out like on the weekdays, don't you? Some crazy weekday event.
Well, we can always find a day if you can make the scene.
I would be there. Could find some weekend day. Because if I was a Friday, I have to work.
I'll have to find out when the barcade is open on the weekend.
I think it's open in the
Saturday would be a beautiful day because there's no work the next day.
Oh yeah,
no work the day off. Because Friday it's like 5 o'clock minimum.
Free play. And it's kind of nice because it's only about half a mile away from Pizza J.
Is it in downtown, like right there?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God.
Down near the bus station there, like.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Saturdays it's open even longer. It opens at 5 and closes at 2 a.m.
Ooh, that's good because Haven Brothers stays open very late, so we kind of do our day and then walk down. Maybe have a coffee because some of us might have drank too much for the ride home, and we have burgers and all is well.
Pretty sweet. All right. I really would love
start
it.
the day with pizza and the day with burgers. In between,
oh my God,
it's
that's a perfect day. That's a perfect day.
Air hockey, and if Brian's with us, we can play the 4-person air hockey.
Ooh,
which is pretty exciting.
I do love air. I can't say I'm good at.
Nobody's really good. I don't think at air hockey.
Yeah, I think I'm normal at air.
Yeah. As long as I don't attack you. Oh, very nice.
Her 5-pound dog Tweak wants to kill everyone always.
Tweak.
That's how little cats are. I mean, little dog. Yeah, I've seen Tweak. I've talked to Tweak on the phone.
We can have people submit pictures of their pets.
We have to do that too before next week. Pick the Halloween contest. I'll send that to everybody. So the amazing people at Severn Films sent this monstrosity.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
All the haunts be ours. It's very heavy.
Oh, I dig it.
13 discs, 24 international folk horror classics. Features 55 plus combined hours of special features, 252-page hardcover book, and more. That's insane.
Wow. That's amazing. I have the biggest envy.
Oh, yeah. Does it have a list of what
probably
they
can
have
open up?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be having the producer of this on soon. She also directed that folk horror documentary that was out. I think it played at at Brattle.
Mm-hmm. I think it was at Salem Horror Fest.
It might have played a few places, but
yeah.
Not the one they have on Shudder, is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
That it was really good.
Yeah, I believe that is.
Showed me a lot of ones that I didn't even know existed.
Good folks at Severn Films.
That Betty Page?
Right? I do wonder who it is because I've never really thought about it. It just looks like Betty Page.
Yeah, she's got the bangs.
Really nice. Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it's Betty Page.
Betty Page.
So this
or
thing is
Dita, because I think you said you've seen Dita.
Oh, Dita's the greatest. Yeah.
Is she still around?
Oh yeah, she's playing in
the late
Vegas now.
90s.
She's in her 50s now. She's like 52 and still like va va boom. You know.
So this book lists all the movies. This is like a little, well, not little.
Where's the eye? You were trying to show that, and the eye is just ever present.
Oh yeah, look, even in the dark, look,
Yeah,
you can't see anything else.
Exactly. When you went to pull it up, that's all I could see was the eye. It's crazy.
That's wild.
That
all Hans VR is a folk horror storybook.
Be careful.
Oh, wow, it's a little novel, little book here.
You're gonna summon something. Be careful.
Probably. And these are all the movies.
What do you got for titles, man?
He's keeping it secretive.
Right?
So
you can't even see it, dude. Story time.
Well, I can't show them and read them, but so we have, well, let's start with disc 1. Disc 1, to fire you come at last. Maybe it says it in this book here. I can read it.
What?
I
love
like
knowing
this
that
person's
there are
crazy like tattoo design flame head.
So that is to fire you come at last. Is the disc
Does it say a
1.
year? Like, you know, sometimes things have years in parentheses. I want to know. I'm gonna look. What is
Maybe
it
there'd be a
called?
better way
Fire
for me
what?
to look. To fire you come at last.
Oh, we saw this, or I saw this. I saw this. I think I saw this. It's so good. It's so good. It is colonial times, and there's this really shitty, snobby dude, and they're transporting a corpse, like I don't know if it's a good casket, but they're transporting it. It's nighttime, and they've got to get to this destination. And some of the people involved are, I think there's criminals there, and there's kind of like this social commentary. But as they're going, there becomes creepy, haunty things. It's a short, but was one of my favorites. It is very well shot. It's very well cast. It's
an older
one. A little funny. No, it's pretty new.
Okay.
How old is it? But it's pretty new. 2023.
So it's got the movie, and it's got audio commentary, and it's got a documentary. Then there's also a collection of short films on the same disc. And then another feature film, Psychomania, which I believe is an older film.
Psychomania. Let's see. Psychomania from 1973, also known as The Death Wheelers. And this is some pretty ridiculous looking stuff over here. It is a, let's see here. Death Wheelers. An amiable psychopathic leader of a violent teen motorbike gang is spurred by his mother, a Satan-worshipping spiritual medium, into committing suicide and returning to life as an undead. Wow.
That sounds awesome.
That's crazy.
That's from 73, you say?
Yeah. That's
is it British
nuts.
or?
I think, yes. I think it is, because I was reading something on the Google page. Is a 1973 British outlaw biker horror film directed by John Sharp. Yeah, it looks ridiculous. The thing that I read out loud does not match the pictures I see.
That's okay.
So, yeah, so I'm even more fascinated. They don't look like
so far.
One of the people who do the audio track on that is a former guest on the show, Chris Alexander.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Puppy Salute. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night, Puppy Salute. Yeah, she sent us kisses, and she loves all three of us. It's very nice. And she always includes all three of us.
Love her right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So disc 2 includes The Enchanted and Who Fears the Devil.
Let's see. Does it say? It doesn't say the years they come out, huh?
Nope.
The Enchanted looks like it might be like a 70s thing.
Let's see. I've got a 1984.
Okay, that's where
filmed mostly in 1981. Let's see.
Still get that 70s vibe, so that's okay.
Well, this is a very long description. I'll go to a much shorter description over here.
That guy looks familiar too.
The hell? Sailor Royce Hagen returns from the sea and occupies his deserted family ranch in a remote part of backwoods Florida. A strange family is living in the woods on his property. A Florida folk mystery hangs over the ranch. It's an odd description. Oh my goodness, these images.
All right, so far I want to see all of these.
Right, and what was the second one, Neil?
Who Fears the Devil?
Who Fears the Devil? I already like it. It sounds dramatic. Who fears the devil? Let's see. Apparently that brings up more than just the movie.
Oh.
Who fears the devil? Where are we? Is it also the legend? Yeah, the Legend of Hillbilly John.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I figure, Neil, this is the one for you, right?
I'm a big Hillbilly fan.
I know you are. There's a very short IMDb. A wandering ballad singer in the Appalachians meets an ugly bird-type creature, is transported back in time, finds himself involved in the devil's work. And the cover image...
It's not this cat with the guitar, is it?
I'm going to have to screenshot this and send it to Neil. It is a sight to behold. Oh my God, it's fucking ridiculous.
So I did find a place that lists the dates and stuff. So yeah, that one's from 1972.
Oh,
and
wow.
the actual director is on the commentary for that one.
I sent this in our group chat. So Troy, if you have it open, you can see it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
See, that one sounds so familiar to me, and that picture of that guy. I think I may have seen this one, but a million years ago.
Oh my God. The guy's running with a guitar. It's like, what the fuck?
All he's missing is like the... who was the guy that would... He was like the Kung Fu Hillbilly. He had the hat.
Kung Fu Hillbilly? I want to know.
Well, he was like the Kung Fu hippie hillbilly. Billy Jack.
Billy Jack. That sounds really... Look at that. Oh my God. The creature is really cool. It's like got the snake-headed eagle body. But the dude running away with an acoustic guitar.
Yep, that guy rocks. He's just like... It's like Jim Croce. He just needs a mustache.
That's so weird. I was just really, really into Time in a Bottle for like a week solid.
Whoa, that's totally
I'm a big fan of that whole album.
It's so random. Like, why is this in my mind? But
not a guy that died way too young.
Time in a bottle. The first thing that I'd like to do is take every day till eternity passes, and then I would spend them with you. Well, there never seems. All right, so next up, disc 3, The White Reindeer and Edge of the Knife.
Whoa.
The White Reindeer. Did you guys see that movie, Reindeer?
The White Reindeer is from 1952.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This looks like a black and white film.
Yeah, they didn't invent color yet in the 50s.
I think they mentioned that one on that documentary you were talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I've never seen it.
That makes sense. A newlywed woman goes to the local shaman, that person, to get some help with her love life, but instead, she gets turned into a white reindeer vampire.
And why would you?
Hot damn.
It's got a very high rating. 6.9 on IMDb is a high rating.
Yeah. I'm in love just from that description.
Almost 3,000 people have voted. That's, for this movie, that's a lot of attention and really a very high rating. So,
yeah. That sucker could be the Yoda Suji of this whole package.
Indeed. What was the second one, Neil?
Edge of the Knife, which is from 2018, Canadian film.
Oh, so it's a more recent sucker.
Oh, it's Canadian. Looks quite Asian. Oh, maybe it's okay. It's
Canadian.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably not.
Yeah, these are all from all over the world because the White Reindeer is a movie from Finland.
Yeah, I think these are native people from the Canada lands. Their clothing is really cool. Let's see. Edge of the Knife. This is the shortest description yet. When a man accidentally causes the death of the son of his best friend, the man is racked by grief and runs off into the woods.
All right. That's leaving it pretty open-ended.
Pretty open, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a storyline below that's much longer. In a 19th century summer, two large families gather for their annual fishing retreat on the far-removed island of Haida Gwaii. Aditsai, a charming nobleman, accidentally causes the death of his best friend Kwa's son and hastens into the wilderness. Aditsai is tormented by what he has done and spirals into insanity, becoming Gaxiid. I'm sorry, that's mispronounced. A supernatural being crazed by hunger. He unexpectedly survives the winter, and at next year's gathering, the families try to convert Gaxiid back to Adsil. Sounds very dramatic.
Yeah.
Disc 4 is just one film.
Ooh.
This is the first feature
film.
This is really cool. This is the first feature film to be made entirely in the Haida language of Pacific Coast Canada.
Whoa.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So disc 4 is just one film, Born of Fire from the UK, 1987.
Born of Fire!
It's got a ton of features.
Ooh.
It looks like it could be a very sexy film from this cover. Oh, and then there's like a creepy burn dude.
Whoa.
I guess Born of Fire. All right. So a musician searches. This is the shortest one. A musician searches for the master flautist, a supernatural creature who is planning to blow up the world.
Okay.
What?
Never trust a flautist. That's what we learned here.
That's got a
like Zamfir, Master of the Pan Flute. Or
yes, exactly. Don't trust them.
Also has
676 ratings, but it is still a 6.1.
Also has a couple short films. There's been a lot of short films too. I didn't mention them all. This has Towers of Silence and QAF, QAF.
This, I'm just gonna say that this flautist one has a slight. Oh my god, that's a funny picture. I'm sorry.
Right?
This movie
Is
looks
it like
mad.
a sexy thing?
It's got the slightest little flavor of maybe. This is too much. It's too much of Build Up the Devils. It's a little bit of a vibe.
Disc
The
5.
Devils and Life of Brian. If you combine them, that's this movie.
Disc 5.
Ooh.
And this one features Eo Island from South Korea, 1977. I-O. Is that how you spell?
What? I never knew there were spooky Korean movies back then.
I know.
They've had these spooky stories around for a dang.
Oh yeah, that's true. They've got a lot of good traditions and spooky shit.
An investor planning on developing a tourist resort begins an investigation into the legends of the mysterious Eo Island in the hope of exploiting its unspoiled beauty. I'm guessing that doesn't go well for him at all.
That's until that witch shows up there.
Right?
That bad shit goes
Then
down.
you're pretty screwed.
That's a pretty good looking witch too. I kind of dug her.
Yeah, this is a this is a really nice. Everything about this is a nice looking set here. And the other movie is Scales from 2019 from Saudi Arabia.
Scales back there.
I love that there are so many different.
Oh yeah,
represented here. Ooh, Scales.
I'm hoping someone's turning into a dragon in that one. That's what I'm.
Oh, it's very beautiful.
Ooh.
The images are very, and then it goes into different pictures. But these pictures are beautiful of this film. Okay, so come on, IMDb. You can do it. I know you can. Oh, she's lovely. Set in a dystopian landscape, Scales is the story of a young, strong-willed girl, Hyatt, who lives in a poor fishing village governed by a dark tradition in which every family must give one daughter to the sea creatures who inhabit the waters nearby. In turn, the sea creatures are hunted by the men of the village. Saved from this fate by her father, Hyatt is considered a curse on the village and grows up an outcast. Nevertheless, she does not surrender to this fate and fights for a place within her village. After her mother gives birth to a baby boy, Hyatt must accept the brutal custom of giving herself to the sea creatures or finding a way to escape. Poor girl.
Yep.
Rough time.
That one sounds really interesting, though.
It's beautiful looking. It looks so artistic.
Sea creatures reminded me that Neil today noticed my Innsmouth bumper sticker.
Yeah, Brian did.
What does it say?
Oh, Brian did.
What is it?
It was just, I think it was like the Innsmouth surf shop or something like that.
Yes.
And so then I had to explain that whole thing to him.
Because he was like, where is Innsmouth, Massachusetts?
And I'm like, no, it
It's
doesn't
right.
really make sense, but
Yeah, it's right near Gloucester and Ipswich. That's where it is. I had a Miskatonic University. What's that?
Oh yeah, I got one of those
Yeah,
too.
mine looks very like real. I picked one that people would not know unless they knew.
Was it one like, because I have one that I'm a student there. It's like a little sticker on the front.
No, this one is like it looks. I'll find it. It's from. I think it's from the place in Providence.
Oh, okay.
It's like Lovecraft Arts and Sciences.
Yeah.
But it's like got this eagle. It looks like if you had an old stamp.
Oh, like a crest kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
nice.
Cool.
Well,
I need a new one for
this
like It's cool. Yeah, it's a crest.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
What else you got going on over there for movies?
Disc 6.
Ooh.
We have Bakeneko, A Vengeful Spirit from Japan, 1968.
I've seen that one. That's one that I actually have seen.
Really? What? How do you spell this?
Bakeneko.
K-O. Bakeneko. And what? Vengeful Spirit, 1968. Yeah. Got it.
One of the
cover's crazy.
One of the special features is a complete history of Japanese sex cinema.
Interesting. A vassal kills his lord, and his wife, with her cat, commits suicide to avoid marrying him. Will they return and try to get revenge? Interesting, because that makes me think of like, is it Tome? Or not Tome? Troy, you would know. There is a woman that is killed and her little son. Oh, it got remade in America. She's got the hair.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I guess probably a lot of them do. And the little boy is and the black cat.
Yep. Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
I can't either. It's not The Ring.
No, and it's not The Grudge.
Is it The Grudge?
Maybe it is The Grudge.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Ju-on.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the original's so much better.
The short film is called Man Eater Mountain, which sounds pretty cool too.
Cool.
Is it
Doesn't
another
say anything
Japanese
about-
one?
I don't know. It actually doesn't give me any information at all.
Man Eater
And
Mountain. Let's see.
yeah, it's a short film.
Because I think we saw this
2010.
one when it was like their curator month or whatever on Shudder. They showed a bunch of like older Japanese horror flicks.
Oh, cool.
And it was on there, and that one was pretty good. But the one that really grabbed me, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was 3 short stories, and it was just tremendous. If I find out the name of it, I'll let you know.
Please do. That they found it. It's on IMDb, and the cover looks really cool. Inspector Haido and his fellows came to visit a mountain for the on-the-spot inspection of a serial killing. However, they do not know that the mountain was the site of a bloody inferno and is called Hitokyu Yama. As Haido meets Haruko in the village at the bottom of the mountain, his heartless mind gradually warms up for her. The director creates this movie as a picture card show, and he is also acting as a narrator for the movie. Is this animated?
Oh, that would be tremendous.
Yeah. The cover, it looks like it would be animated. It's cool. One way or the other, it's pretty cool. Are you up with Uzumaki? Have you been keeping up with that, Troy?
I haven't. I wanted to after we had seen the trailer.
Mm-hmm. I need to try to get back to it.
Well, also on the special features, The Vampire Cat, a classic folktale read by Tomoko Komura with original music by Timothy Fife.
No way! Timothy Fife?
Yep.
Oh my God, it's so sweet. Oh my God, Timothy Fife is a hell of a guy.
So, filmmaker, author, Kira La Janice, that's who we'll be having on the show.
I'm going to send him a good for you message.
So
That's so cool.
The second feature on this is Nang Nak from Thailand, 1999. Nang, Nangnak, 2 words.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting things. Like this one has an audio commentary with Maddie Du, director of The Long Walk, and Asian Gothic scholar Katarzyna Ankuta. This whole thing is going to take forever to get through, but it's all like amazing stuff. Like
we can do it bit by bit.
No. I meant to watch all of it.
Oh,
really cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because how many discs are on that sucker?
And I'm a big fan of commentary tracks and stuff, so I like to listen to all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that
give me the movies and.
Well, I was gonna say we could share it around.
Can we do if Troy? I don't know if this would work for you. Could we do like a shared viewing?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, we could do it right in here. Not for everyone watching,
Not
here, but
for
for us, and then we could talk about the movies and stuff. Yeah.
So this one, based on the Thai legend, Mak leaves for Bangkok and is seriously wounded in the Chiang Tong War. When Mak returns, his wife and baby continue to live together till a revelation leads to an unexpected paradigm shift. Very vague. But let's see. The film is based on an old Thai ghost story. Director Nonzi Nimiptur, I'm not sure how to say that, tours Thai temples conducting ceremonies to appease Nang Nak's spirit and obtain good luck for the film. Huh. Yeah, I saw something else about that. It was for Uzumaki. They like the people that made this animated series went to a temple in Tokyo and had like a ceremony to kind of like help the people making this demonic series be safe. It was really wild. It was pretty cool.
That's too cool.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yes.
The white guy didn't know what to do. It was really funny. There's commentary about it, but he did his best.
I did find the movie I was talking about, though. It's Quaidan, and it's three short stories. It's from 1964.
Oh, I like the name of it.
It's tremendous.
This is cool here. This is disc 7. We've got Sundel Bolong from Indonesia, 1981. It's SUN, all one word, SUNDELBOLONG. And so that's got trying to find the features on that one. It's got Hantu Retribution, female ghost of the Malay Archipelago, and a short film called White Song.
Oh. That reminds me of like a David Bowie type thing. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a very long storyline. So I'll read the short version.
All right.
Is Sundel Bolong is about a Javanese prostitute ghost from Indonesian mythology that is a vengeful spirit looking to haunt some high school students.
Ooh, I love vengeful spirit.
That sounds
good. And a prostitute ghost.
Gotta like that. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I mean, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Prostituting is not a joyful life for most. I can't say for everybody. I'm sure there are prostitutes that are out there doing their thing and are comfortable with it, and that's great. But there are many stories of that being a sad time. So
and the second film is an American film from this year, 2024. Susanna, the Queen of Black Magic, and there's 2 Z's in Susanna, 2 Z's and 2 N's.
Okay.
And that has a conversation with director, co-producer David Gregory and co-producer Eki Mangia in the trailer. Susanna, Suzzanna.
I found it.
Okay.
Interesting. It seems like it is. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I'll read it to you and you guys let me know what you think of this. She starred in 42 classic movies, was hailed as the queen of Indonesian horror, and crowned Asia's most popular actress. But who was Susanna Martha Frederica van Osch? Long beloved by the Asian world as Susanna, yet virtually unknown outsiders. Through exclusive interviews with family, colleagues, filmmakers, and historians, as well as clips from her classic films, director David Gregory unearths the legacy of the Scream Queen, who has begun to emerge as one of the most compelling icons in cinema history.
Since the other movie on that disc was Indonesian, I assume she was in that movie, and this is a new documentary about her. So that sounds
Pretty
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, I love finding out things like this. This is great.
This is very cool.
We're up to disc 8.
Whoa.
And on disc 8, we have Beauty and the Beast from Czechoslovakia, 1978.
Wow.
Audio commentary with film historian Michael Brook, and archival interviews with director Uraz Hares and actors Vlastimil Harapes and Vendina Stunakova.
The cover
sample that green
lovely.
drink.
Yes. That's probably illegal here.
That probably is.
This cover image is absolutely lovely. This looks like it would be it looks very Suspiria-ish imagery wise. Maybe just of its time. The camera. It looks cool. All right. So let's see.
Is it like the actual Beauty and the Beast story, or?
I will let you know. The honest merchant Otek goes bankrupt when he loses the cargo of dowry for the wedding of his ambitious and envious older daughters, Malinka and Gabinka, with decadent earls. His only chance to raise money is selling the painting of his former wife and mother of the sweet and pure youngest daughter, Julie. He travels through the haunted wood during the night, but his horse dies, and he seeks shelter in the derelict castle of the Beast. He is well received by his host that buys his painting by a fair price. When he is leaving the castle, he takes a rose for Julie from the Beast's rose bush, and his host tells that he must pay with his life for the theft of the rose. He asks for permission to return to go home to give the jewels for his daughters, but he would return to the castle since he is a man of honor. The Beast accepts and tells that his life would be spared whether one of his daughters agrees to come to the castle. When Julie learns of the proposal, she travels to the castle to save the life of her father. She is forbidden by the Beast to look at him, but along the lonely days, she falls in love with his voice and kindness. Sounds super kind. Like a super kind fellow. You picked my rose? Die!
You must die. He really likes his rose, you know?
This is one of the most toxic stories ever.
I love that cover, though. That cover is amazing.
Beautiful, but so toxic.
Oh, yeah.
Little
We're
girl.
50 Frenchmen strong. And
just
50
love
Frenchmen
him enough.
can't be wrong.
Just love
Let's
him
kill
enough.
the
He'll be a hero. No, that's not how that works. Don't listen to that young children watching the show.
So the second feature is The Ninth Heart from 1979, also from Czechoslovakia.
I like this title. It's intriguing.
I don't know if I've ever seen like a movie from Czechoslovakia.
No, it's also as an audio commentary with Kat Ellinger, an author of she's the author of Daughters of Darkness. Also as the Uncanny Valley of the Dolls, the history and liminality of dolls, puppets, and mannequins.
Ooh, spooky shit.
Wow.
Dolls are spooky.
Martin, a poor student, volunteers to go on a quest to find a cure for Princess Adriana, who is stricken with a strange illness. Unknown to Martin or anyone else, the princess is actually under the spell of a powerful magician, Angelo Brandini, who is preparing a rejuvenating elixir made from the blood of 9 children's hearts. I love that word, and I can't believe I said it, but it was great. It was beautiful to say. Angelo Brandini.
Here's a little bit.
The magician.
That must be the magician there.
The great, the Brandini.
Got a really bad comb over.
What?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, give him a break.
That's like Pavarotti right there.
That's fine. He's doing his best.
All right. Disc 9. Well, that's me interested.
Yeah, definitely.
How many discs are there?
15.
Whoa, we're not getting through all those tonight. I got a
13,
job.
13.
I gotta work in the morning. Next week is part 2 of the review.
We can do that. Yeah, we can
like
go to
that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot here to go through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to like just brush over them because these have been really interesting.
Yeah. This is amazing. So Severin's been sending us a lot of stuff lately. Very cool of them.
Yeah, that's just awesome. I love the whole setup of that thing.
Yeah, their stuff is like really well put together.
Just so cool.
So
I
would
can't wait
recommend
to check out some of the flicks.
Yeah,
that's gonna be great.
It's cool because all the three of us and a lot of people love folk horror, but these are a lot of ones that not everyone knows about because
what is the
I
title?
love them, but I don't know all these anyway. Or
All the Haunts Be Ours, a compendium of folk horror, Volume 2.
Ooh,
wow!
I gotta get my hands on Volume 1.
I know. I'm not sure what's in Volume 1.
It is pricey, but how many movies is it? A lot of fucking movies.
Yeah, it's like 20-something films. So yeah.
Wow. How much?
And all the extras and everything. Like
that's true.
That's pretty nuts.
Well, it is very pricey. I will say it is almost $200. And yet, so I see it on Severin Films for $170 with free delivery.
If somebody's looking to give someone a good Christmas gift, this might be the bad boy to give them.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's really true.
That's a really
give. I mean,
on a completely different side note, just in case anybody's interested, on Crunchyroll, they just started season 2 of the the new Rurouni Kenshin. And so the remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of Kenshin, I love the original ones. Love the manga, love everything about Kenshin. The season 1 was just so beautiful. Like, the animation is better than I could ever imagine. And season 2 is my personal favorite season of Kenshin's storyline, because that's when he fights against his rival, and it's good stuff. So it just started last week, so it's only 2 episodes out right now. But if anybody was waiting for this to appear, it is there.
Is this by a person named Rurouni Kenshin?
No, that's the name of the character.
Okay, because this is not a good story about that person. We won't go into detail because it's a really dark story. But it's not that. All right. So how do you spell this, Kenshin?
What's that?
I must have misspelled this. How do you spell this name?
Rouni, Rurouni. And then Kenshin's just Kenshin.
I see. All right.
And just like, and I loved the original series, but this is just like, the animation's just so amazing in this.
Cool.
And they haven't screwed with the storyline, so the stories are all, if you like the stories before, you'll like the stories now. And his enemy Shishio is just like, he's just such a badass character. I love him.
Did you watch the Castlevania series?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I put it on to go to sleep, and I never actually watched it, but it seems intriguing.
Yep.
Because Castlevania is pretty cool.
The second season, though. I really liked the first season. I should probably go back and watch the second season.
I would like to see it. It's a great idea.
Crunchyroll's got like, if anybody's into like any anime or anything, they have tons of content. Like, you could never get through, I don't think, all the stuff they have on that.
It's like Tubi for anime.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of neat because I was kind of against it to start with when they would remake an older series, but they did it with Black Butler, and it's just beautiful. It's so great. And
I guess sometimes you have things like if you think about John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh yeah, yep, right. You're right.
It's like, it's amazing. Sometimes you'll have these things that are old and wonderful in their way, but then to bring them forward, sometimes it does justice. And then I think sometimes when you see these newer films or whatever it may be, the newer productions of whatever has been made, people will actually go and find whatever the source material is, because when you actually really care about a story, you go, oh, I didn't know that. And you will go back to it. So that's very cool. Crunchyroll.
So big thanks to our guest tonight. It's been a really fun show.
Yes.
Coming up next week, we will have Brian Spears and Jeremy talking about the effects in Smile 2.
Oh,
cool.
Very wild film, very dark film.
Cool.
So that'll be a good show. Coming up, we also have Richard Stanley. We're going to get that together. He's all about coming on the live show on a Thursday. It'll be 2 a.m. for him. And he says that's the time he just starts getting going. So it'll be he prefers that time. So
cool.
So that'll be cool. We got a bunch of other people that are wanting to come on, so that's very exciting. So go over to Without Your Head on Facebook, follow us there, follow us on Instagram, subscribe here on YouTube if you watch it live, wherever. That's awesome. But please subscribe on the YouTube page, give us a thumbs up, leave some comments. If you would like to, you could join to help support the show. It starts only $3 a month. Become a Headite, so that is a fun time.
Troy's visual accompaniment is fabulous.
I appreciate that. We had a new member tonight, which was very cool.
Yes.
Stephen Bravo. I know him from somewhere. I know it's a character name, but I also think he's
maybe he's related.
Johnny Bravo is pretty cool.
I think he's. I know him from. I've been on
they're pretty
Rob Saul podcast a few times lately, and I think he's one of the guys from over there. So
okay.
So yeah, it's been great. I'm glad I forced myself through my sick feelings.
Yes, both of you guys. You made it through your illness. You made the scene. You showed up. You showed out. I'm proud of you both.
Thank you.
So much. Pablo. Let me grab this name because I had asked him when we saw the Depraved. What was the movie? The Depraved was one that they were making for years. The Depraved exhibit.
Okay.
Yes. Oh.
And,
yes.
And so I'd asked a bunch of the different directors to come on.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I got a reply from one today, and he's sorry he's super late, but he doesn't check his Facebook very often, so which is
many people don't.
Yes. Excuse me. But he's all excited about coming on.
Cool.
So we're gonna set that up, and that is Pablo Fu. Let me see here.
I'm gonna name a cat.
Oh no, this is a different person. I'm sorry, this is a different person. This is Pablo Fu, who the man who created this was I actually messaged him years ago. So this is the guy who does oh god, what were those? It was really cool. We saw the American one. It's a locally made zombie film.
I need more.
It was the American Invasion one. When we met him at Dead of Winter Film Festival.
It looks like he's involved in When Evil Lurks.
Okay, so he also did that too. All right.
COVID cannibals or COVID zombie cannibals. Plaga zombie.
I see. Never mind. I've got this mixed up with many people. He's
Neil Jones. Now he's not coming on the show.
No, he's coming on though.
Like, fuck that.
All right. His music is it. His music.
Oh,
is in
When Evil
Lurks, and so he'll be the music of the month coming up.
Oh, sweet!
Oh, awesome! That's
and he'll also come on for an interview. His English is not perfect, but that'll be really cool.
Neither's mine. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's very good. All right, sweet. All right,
cool.
So we'll set that up. By the way, it was just announced today. I'd known about it, but it was announced today. At Dead of Winter, the next Dead of Winter coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 40th anniversary of the Toxic Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
And the cast of the original Toxic Avenger will be there. And
that's pretty cool.
Prior to that, they will be on Without Your Head to talk about it. So
very cool. Yes. So for the people that do not know what Dead of Winter is, it is a new horror film festival for New England for horror filmmakers to come together, to network, to see each other's movies, to enjoy movies, to provide a place for people to see these New England horror movies, because there's such a talented crowd of people in the New England area, and just giving some place to showcase that. So James Lamond runs it, wonderful fellow.
Where is it out of?
Worcester.
Oh, okay.
They put it in Worcester. It's beautiful at Mechanics Hall. I'd never been. It's beautiful. It's like a ballroom. It was like, that was a perfect way to start a festival, because it's like, oh shit, this is good. And they're going to have that space for years.
Okay.
They've got it like booked out.
Did it already happen this year, or is it coming up?
Yeah, I think it's always in February.
Oh, okay.
For the Dead of Winter.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not that far away. It's the next one's a couple days before my birthday.
Nice. As long as there's not like feet of snow or anything.
Yeah, exactly. So our buddy Mark Torgel will be there, along with many of the other cast of the original Toxic Avenger. So
very nice. I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
I usually go to bed at 11 when I feel good.
You guys get to bed chicken soup tomorrow?
I've got ramen right here.
That works. That's perfect.
That's what I got during the break.
All right. So we'll be back next week. Lots of stuff going. Go see Heretic. Oh my god, the movie's friggin' awesome.
Really?
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, good to know.
I loved it. It's awesome. The other movie I saw.
Which one?
Elevation.
Not so good.
It's basically they took A Quiet Place. They're like, let's just redo this, but instead of being quiet, you can't go above a certain elevation. So the monsters can't go above 8,000 feet. It's the most uninspired, one of the most uninspired films I've seen in a long time. It's just like a straight up lame version of A Quiet Place or Arcadia, or maybe like a zombie. It's like the most basic setup. These monsters took over the world. You don't know where they came from or why. There's a few people left. And of course, they can't go above this level, so they're all up there. And of course, one guy's kid has some disease, so he's got to go venture back into town and find his medicine. And I was like, oh my God.
It sounds like a really heart-wrenching tale of heroism.
And this is legit. This is legit. So they got to go through this tunnel, and they're going through tough. Of course, some monsters there, and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? Let's jump in this little like crevice. Now we're stuck." And so it's like, "Hey, look, there's a way out." There's some rocks. They move the rocks, and then they're in the hallway. Like, "Oh no, we're trapped again." On it's coming. Hey, look, there's an exit. I'm like, this is like the worst writing. Like is this just AI, or is
this
like
is
it's
like
literally
when
like
people are
they're stuck
kids
3 times and there's here's the exit here. It's just so lame.
You know that game when you're children and you do pass the story, and it's like,
right, yeah,
and then the next person
yeah.
doesn't actually know how to tell stories.
Then there's an exit, and it's like,
Exactly.
oh, yeah.
They just pass their turn along. Wow.
And then they not do it's rotten.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
The Heretic. Oh my God, I loved Heretic. And then I went to see Scream on, or not Scream, AMC Screen Unseen. You're supposed, it's an
like a surprise.
Yeah. And so I was looking at the Reddit page, and people were guessing all these different movies, and one of them they were guessing was a new Angel Studios movie. And like, it won't be that, because there's no way they're gonna put out an Angel Studios movie and piss off like half their fans. So I was like, God. So I go there, and up comes Angel Studios. I was like, so I actually left. So
wow.
That was pretty like lame. Just like they trick you into seeing the
like
right-wing Christian propaganda films. So.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's unwise.
Yeah, I don't think it was a smart movie either.
Yeah,
it makes me not want to ever do it again.
Yeah, right. That's very unwise.
All right.
So, the hard Christian right is going to be, sold on that. Now they're going to go to every fucking one now forward.
Yeah, and then other people that don't want to do it, they'll just be. Yeah. So, anyway, we'll be back next week. Good time. Thanks, everybody. This is Nasty Neil.
This is Annabelle Lecter. That was wonderful, terrible Troy.
Yes. And this is Without
Your Head.